Lightsaber Radio, the most outrageous Star Wars show on the web, and today we're exploring the influences of Star Wars on pop culture, from lightsabers to iconic characters. Discover how this epic saga has shaped the world that we know today. Get ready to be transported to a galaxy of imagination and inspiration. So without further ado, let's get started.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
Last we will reveal ourselves.
I have a bad feeling about this.
You are now Lightsaber Radio. If you only knew the power of gods.
Here it comes.
Let's go.
You are now into Lightsaber Radio. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello there.
What's going on, wonderful far, far away family? Welcome back to the show. So today's topic is going to... Today's topic is me coughing. No, I joke.
Today's topic is asthma.
So today's topic, we're going to be talking about how Star Wars has influenced pop culture, from the humbling beginnings from 1977 all the way to it just being a global phenomenon. Star Wars has, left some incredible marks on society, some things that's happened, that's been done in the far, far away, that just shows how big it has become. Because when I was young in 1977, well, I was born in 1977, but when I was young, you was a geek if you was a Star Wars. You was a nerd. Only, now you got some of the most glamorous people in the world.
You're still a bit of a nerd, Kyle. Let's be honest. I'm just kidding.
But, it was a thing that you had to be, you couldn't be cool and be a Star Wars fan. And nowadays, that's not the truth. The truth nowadays is some of the most spectacular people in the world are Star Wars fans. We got some of the most amazing cosplayers out there in any franchise. And the things that are happening have literally shaped and transformed pop culture now. Like, it's in music. Star Wars is in music. There's rap references. It's in damn near every TV show that comes on. It has literally, molded the pop culture that we live in. I mean, you got rappers rapping about Star Wars. You got, major actors that are dressing up in cosplay and going to Comic-Cons and, doing all kind of different stuff. And it has really influenced the way movies, television, and everything is done nowadays, just the techniques that they have used. So today, we're going to get to all that. But before we get to that, we have to start off with the Heartbreaker. And if you're new to the channel, it's our form of an icebreaker, something that we get, use to get our creative juices flowing. And we encourage you to give your thoughts in the chat. So just whatever outrageous thing comes up. So Garrison is going to start us off with a Star Wars scenario, and then we're going to have to come up with the most outrageous response. But first, drop that wonderful Heartbreaker footage.
I still love that intro. All right.
Hold on. Wait a second. I got to write this fucking shit down. I got to fix that. That shit bothers the shit out of me. See that orange shit on the top and the bottom? I keep saying I'm going to fix it, but I forget it, and then I don't.
Oh,
so
the
I'm
orange.
writing it down.
I
Fix
still
that
think
shit.
it looks good. It still looks good.
So what's up going on, Chris? What's going on? J-Dog's in the chat. We got Star Wars team leader. And Star Wars team leader said, my group is doing a city event next month. We will have a booth set up. If you guys want to make some promotional flyers for your channel and send me a copy of it, I'll gladly print it out and post it on the table. Man, thank you, Star Wars team leader. I'll get something made up and send it over to you for the channel so you guys can, so you could do that. Man, we really appreciate that. Thank you so much. See, we got the most, that's why we got the good fans. We got the most greatest and outrageous Star Wars fans ever.
So, the Heartbreaker for today. Kind of controversial. I saw this thing on Reddit the other day, and I figured this would be a good thing to talk about real quick. If you could choose to get rid of either the if you could choose to get rid of the Gungans or the Ewoks from Star Wars, which one would you get rid of?
Holy shit.
You have to get rid of one of them. Yeah, you have to get rid of one of them.
You have to get rid of one of them.
You have to get rid of one of them.
Well, the only Gungan that was really irritating was fucking Jar Jar. All the rest of them
No.
was like just cool. They just
The
talked
rest
weird
were
and-
fine, yeah.
It was just Jar Jar. But at the same time, Ewoks are like fucking was about to eat people and shit. They were about to eat Luke and Leia, and well, not
Yeah.
Leia, but they was about to eat Han
And to me, like,
and
there's
Luke.
no way Ewoks beat stormtroopers. That's something that still is like, to me in
Well, I
Star
mean,
Wars.
they were pretty crafty. You know, they had some good, you know, old school tactics of, you know,
I
flying
know they were
sticks
crafty,
and,
but come on, dude.
you know what I'm saying? Now, I don't think they were gonna beat them with spears and fucking rocks, but you know, the big things that they made was kind of cool. You know, even the rope hanging up and they
Yeah.
fly by and get snatched off that mug, and you know, you got enough people jumping on you if they're like little people, it's gonna hurt. You're gonna get messed up, especially if you can't get to your gun.
Dude,
But-
I think I honestly get rid of the Ewoks, man.
Yeah, because Ewoks are evil. You know, if it wasn't for C-3PO, Luke and Han and Chewbacca, they would have got eaten. They were going to cook them and eat them. They're like little furry cannibal grizzly bears or something like that. They were not Care Bears. They didn't give a shit.
They're not really
Only reason they
cannibals.
helped anybody is because of C-3PO and Leia.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I would get rid of the Ewoks, like, cause you wouldn't want to wake up in a room full of Ewoks, cause your ass might be missing a leg,
Yeah.
like a bunch of rabid pit bulls or something, just
I
chewing
think
on
that,
your damn leg.
yeah, and as annoying as Jar Jar was, the Gungans, I think, fit a little bit better in that story than the Ewoks did in theirs. I feel like it just makes more sense.
Yeah, it was only, I don't know, and you know they're more civilized. The Ewoks
True.
are not really civilized. They're like little
no, the
cannibal
Ewoks are-
creatures, little bears. And at least, you know what I'm saying, the Gungans were, you know, they were civilized. You know, they had their own cities and, you know, their technology was kind of dope. They could live underwater and shit. So, you know what I'm saying? I think if it was me and I was going like, okay, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna get these people to fight on our side. If I was rebels or the Empire or whatever. I don't know. If I was the Empire, I might get the Ewoks because we just launch their little asses on some planet and let them eat everybody. But I would go after the Gungans because the Gungans would be more, you know, they got more technology. I could communicate with them and you know what I'm saying? We could talk and figure out a battle strategy. So I would think I would keep the Gungans. Yeah, I'll get rid of the Ewoks.
Yeah.
I'll keep the Gungans.
Well, like, so in the chat, Chris says Gungans couldn't even beat a droid army while the Ewoks brought the pain to the Empire. My thing is, dude, the Ewoks were like, I'm sorry. I watched that to this day and I'm like, come on. There's no way.
Well,
It's cringy to me, man.
And then you got to also understand, you know, the droid army was basically, I mean, it's just robots. You know what I'm saying? They were just marching and they didn't care about getting shot. Stormtroopers give a shit about getting killed because they're people. So, you know,
true.
and it was a very few stormtroopers compared to how many robots there was in the droid army. They had a shit ton of them, and it was like 8 spaceships that came down and
That's
dropped
true.
off like
That's a
1,000
good
of each
point.
one. But, you know, if I'm going to
That's
go,
true.
because
That's a
like
great
Jar
point.
Jar was the only one, and he got kicked out of the Gungans anyway, so you know what I'm saying? They
For being
kicked his ass
clumsy,
out.
yeah.
Yeah, for being an idiot. So I would go with the Gungans, because I think that they would benefit me more as, you know, if I was a leader of the Empire or anything. Plus, you know, you never know. Shit, they might have Gungan girls. Like, did you see a Gungan girl?
Oh,
anytime?
God. No, I don't care. No,
Hey, but
there's
shit,
no
man,
way.
you can make money off of them. That's good prostitution.
No, who's going to pay for that, dude? No.
Pimp out Gungan women.
No way.
Make more money for the Empire.
No way.
He said, no way.
Not a chance.
What
That's
if it was
disgusting.
like a beautiful Gungan Jedi chick?
There's no way. No, there's no such thing. The Gungans are so gross. Might as well just have sex with a frog.
What would you rather have sex with, a Gungan or an Ewok?
Neither.
You know you humped your teddy bear when you was little. You was like, come here,
No,
teddy
my
bear.
dog humped my teddy bear. My dog humped my teddy bear, and that creeped me out enough.
Okay,
Not a chance.
so The Kung and Tongue didn't do that. Chris says Kyle wants to know what the Kung and Gung will do. Tongue will
Gung
do.
and tongue.
That's some long tongues, man. They might be able to do some, they might be able to do some stuff with that tongue, boy. I'm a creep, so it doesn't
Not
matter.
wrong.
But so today we're talking about what's going on in Infected. So if I'm a little bit out of the blue, I haven't really got no sleep. I've been working. I don't know if I announced it really. I've been working on this short film. We're in final edit, and now color grading is finished. We're trying to get this film into like Sundance and Toronto Film Festival and Tribeca and all them. So yeah, it's not a Star Wars film. Before everybody says, "Oh, you're doing a Star Wars," it's not a Star Wars film. It's basically on like a person. It's basically on a kid. He's mixed, and he's getting pulled between his one side of his culture and the other side of his culture. He got friends on both sides, and they're trying to pull him from one direction to another. They're taking him, and then his overall the world. He's automatically the minority, even though he has white in him. He's automatically a minority because of the other race that's in him, and it's a very heartfelt, coming into one's own and just understanding the world type of film. So it'll be out. I would like to say that I'm gonna give everybody a fucking preview of it when it's completely finished, but I don't know if I can do that yet until I get done, until it goes through the film festival circuits, because we're trying to get that done in that. But I do think I got some actors to do one of the Star Wars short films that I got. It's a pretty good idea that I have. So I'm pretty tired. Because like I said, I've been working on this film for constantly for 3 weeks now, and spent more money than I ever thought in life that I would spend on anything. But, so if I just start saying rambling dumb shit, just somebody check me and say, "Hey, shut up, Kyle." Somebody in the chat or something.
I'll remember.
Infected said, "I made a milestone as a dad. My son has been requested Star Wars every night for 2 weeks. And his favorite are Empire Strikes Back and the Clone Wars series." Yep, that's what we're talking about right there. Get them young, get them hooked.
Brainwash them young.
Brainwash them young, so they'll be Star Wars
Fans for life.
forever. But yeah, so yeah, if I get
And then if they ever stop liking Star Wars, you disown them. This is a religion. I'm just kidding.
yeah, this is a religion. We're overtaking Christianity. We're gonna be the newest religion. Just imagine in 100 years of Star Wars is an actual religion.
Dude, probably. I can see
It
that.
can happen. You gotta think about it. It's just stories.
The Force.
The Force being God. You know what I'm saying? The pull to the dark side.
It already
the pull
is
to the
kind
light
of a
stuff.
religion. I'm sure
It's
some
based
people
on
already
religion.
follow it. I'm sure some
definitely has
people
a
already
big-
follow it.
It definitely has a big. You think
Appeal.
about it, because if you look at the Bible and you go through the Bible, and then you look at Star Wars, it's basically the same story, just wait.
What? Not a chance.
It's basically the same story.
Not a chance.
got-
No.
A carpenter, a farmer, no kid. He goes out looking for his father. You know what I'm saying?
What are you talking about? Jesus wasn't looking for his father. Jesus knew his father.
Well, he goes out searching for the Force with some priest.
What?
Jesus goes to the synagogue and is speaking
And
the word of his
teaches at
father.
the synagogue.
Same thing. It's all the same. It's
No,
the same
it's
crap.
so different.
Same crap. Only the difference is, Jesus didn't find out that his dad was the devil. You know what I'm saying? Darth Vader.
Not a chance, bro.
But it's all based on the
I
same
think you need to
premise.
read the Bible again, Kyle.
Dude, you think about it. What is the best stories ever told? Even on the front of the Bible, it says the best story ever told. It says it right on the front of almost every Bible that you go by.
When does it say that? I'm
It says it
reading a
right on the
different
very
Bible
bottom of
than
the
you.
book. It says the best story ever told. So if you think about that, dude, the Bible is some of the best stories ever written. Ever written. True or not true, it doesn't matter. They're
100%.
great
It's
fucking
one of the-
stories. They are
yes,
great stories.
Correct. It's whether you believe in it or not, it's a literary masterpiece.
Yeah. So any good writer is gonna pull from that if they've ever read the Bible. Any good writer. Quentin Tarantino's done it. He's pulled certain things from the Bible. dude, George Lucas, Scorsese, Spielberg, all of them have pulled stuff. Why do you think so much of Indiana Jones has to do with the Bible? The first one was the Ark of the Covenant. The second one was just some weird shit. The third one was the cup of
The second one was just some weird
the
shit.
cup of Christ. The fourth one, alien weird shit, which could still be biblical terms because ancient aliens. You know, a lot of people think that God was aliens. So, I mean, it still falls into the same premise. The last one, whatever this last one's going to be about, which I'll definitely go see
This
on
last
the
one's
30th.
I've
You know
heard
what I'm
it's
saying?
trash.
Huh?
I've heard this last one's bad.
How do you know? Ain't nobody see it. Don't come out till June 30th.
Because reviewers have still seen it and they've written some bad things
Yeah,
about
but
it.
you
Early
can't listen to
reviewers.
reviewers. Reviewers said that they hated Revenge of the Sith. Cisco and Ebert gave it like a 1. You know what I'm
Revenge of
saying?
the Sith?
They gave it like a 1 on a scale of 5. Like, dude, you guys are
I don't know.
idiots. This is one of the greatest movies
This
ever.
last
Rogue
Indiana
One got
Jones does
bad.
not look that
Rogue
good.
One got bad reviews from actual reviewers that went and
Did
seen
it?
the pre-thing. Yeah, it got bad reviews. It's one of the greatest movies ever. What are you talking about? It's in my top 5 great movies of all time. It's like, dude, it's.
I don't know.
Because
My hopes are not high for this last
my
one.
top 5 favorite movies of all times. Number 1 is Shawshank Redemption. That movie is just freaking
Work
awesome.
of art.
Like the dialogue, everything in Shawshank
That's funny.
Redemption.
I
is
actually
awesome.
talked about Shawshank Redemption in the last episode.
My number 2 is Revenge of the Sith. My number 3 is probably Blade Runner. The Blade Runner was just awesome.
Wow.
My number 4 is Sunset Limited because any movie that can keep you captivated with 2 guys just sitting in a room talking for 2 hours is the
I
shit.
still need
The
to watch that
dialogue in
movie.
that shit is awesome.
I need to watch that
my
movie.
number 5 would have to be probably Rogue One. That's my top 5 like movies of all times. My favorite movies to watch. And then, you know, you'll get in my top 10, you know, you got, of course, got to put in you got to have, let's see, what else would I put in my top 10?
Warrior.
My Matrix 1 would be in my top 10 just because it changed visual effects forever. Like nobody had ever done no shit like that.
Warrior's in my top. Warrior's
I still
probably in my
haven't
top
watched
5.
Warrior. I gotta watch that.
So good, dude. Warrior's such a good movie.
Let's see. Pulp Fiction gotta be in my top 10.
Pulp Fiction's good.
Just because the way that he
Django's
started
good.
in the middle and went back to the beginning and went back to the end and just the way it all played out, that shit.
Dude, you know what movie was
masterclass.
really good? Bullet Train.
Bullet Train was pretty good, but I don't know. It'd be in my top 20, but I don't think it would be in my top
Dude,
10.
I think it would be in my top 10. I liked it.
E.T. would have to be up there in my top 10.
Really?
Dude, the cinematography and everything that was done in that is just awesome. The dialogue was great. The overall story was great. It was just awesome. It have to be in my top 10. If not top 10, definitely
Yes,
top 20.
Infected. The MMA movie with Tom Hardy. Definitely. That's in my top 5. That's
The movie,
Warrior.
the movie made with Tom Hardy, the MMA movie.
Yeah, that's Warrior.
Is it Warrior?
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
in my top 5.
Rocky, just because of the storyline, and Sylvester Stallone wrote the premise of the movie in 3 minutes.
Adrian!
It's an underdog story. It's one of the greatest underdog stories of all
know.
time. And I can still watch Rocky till this day, and it gets me amped up. I want to go work out and beat people up.
And I'm
shit.
sorry, like, do you like the Creed movies?
The what? The Creed movies
Creed.
are good. They're all right.
They're good. They're good, but they
The
don't
last
live up
one
to
wasn't
Rocky.
as good, but that's just because it wasn't produced by
Yeah.
Steve.
They don't live up to Rocky.
Sylvester Stallone. He did that himself. And it wasn't a bad movie. Don't get me wrong. I went to the movies and seen it.
They're
and I was
still
like,
good.
dude,
They're
it was
good.
still good, but it
But
wasn't
they're
as
not
good
Rocky.
as the first two.
Yeah.
But it's the same premise. So you're getting the same. Basically, they're just remaking the movies over and over and over again.
Exactly.
But the storyline, dude, that's how you know it's a great story because you can just keep remaking it and it's still good. You can still get it. It's an underdog story. You can't go wrong with an underdog story. And then what else?
Everybody
would I
loves an
And I'd have
underdog.
to say probably the first.
We
Lord
need
of
to
the
have an
Rings.
episode where we share our top 10 movies.
The first Lord of the Rings because that
We
shit
should.
was.
Yeah.
That shit was
That's-
something like nothing else that you had ever seen
Yeah.
before. It was long as shit. And then Avengers.
What?
Endgame.
Get out of here! Not a
Endgame
chance.
was the shit.
Not a chance.
Endgame was the shit. That motherfucker was the shit.
We do need to have an episode where we talk about just our
That
favorite
would probably
movies.
be my top. I think I did more than 10, but that would be I think I did more than 10, but definitely Revenge of the Sith is my number 2 movie, and my number 1 movie is Shawshank Redemption. That's my number. I'll watch them motherfuckers over any other movie. Anybody says, what do you want to watch? If you could only watch one movie for the rest of your life, I'd watch Shawshank Redemption or Revenge of the Sith.
That's
Because
such
I
a
don't
good
ever
movie.
get tired of watching them. Ever. I can watch it 1,000 times and I'll never get tired of watching them. And every
Shawshank
time I watch it, I
Redemption.
see something or I hear something that I haven't heard or seen before. There's always something that catches, like, I don't remember that. Always.
Yeah.
So them is my two ultimate favorite movies.
What do you think, Shot? Should we have an episode where we don't talk just about Star Wars and we talk about our top 10
We
movies?
could do that. Remember the Titans was another good one.
I want to see what the chat would say. Remember the Titans is a good one.
But you
I don't
gotta
know.
also understand, you even think about Shawshank Redemption. If you watch that movie and look at it, you can see the influence the Star Wars had on that movie.
What?
You can see the influence of like some of the way that the camera moves, some of the ways that they use the directing techniques of George Lucas to capture a person in a very intense moment, dude, and even some of the dialogue. It sounds like something that would be said in a Star Wars movie, like hope. They always talk about the hope of him escaping and them getting away and getting right in the boat and all. These are all things that were based. They didn't talk about this before Star Wars ever came out. They didn't
And
talk
Morgan,
about them type of
Morgan
thing in movies.
Freeman in that movie was flipping phenomenal.
Yeah. Dude, that whole movie was just excellent. Another one is The Green Mile. The Green Mile, dude, that movie was dope.
I haven't
as hell.
seen The Green Mile. You,
You
think
haven't
so?
ever seen The Green Mile? Oh
No,
my God,
no.
you gotta watch. You gotta watch Sunset Unlimited. Everybody gotta go watch
Still
Sunset
need to
Unlimited.
watch that.
Because it's just Samuel L. Jackson and Tommy Lee Jones in an apartment. They're just sitting in an apartment for the whole movie, just talking back and forth.
About what?
They're talking. One of them's a scientist, or he's a teacher, and that's Tommy Lee Jones, and he's like a professor of some college, and
I mean,
then
Tommy Lee Jones is incredible.
and Samuel Jackson is an ex-convict that turned his life over to God. And they're having a conversation about religion and God and back and forth. Tommy Lee Jones is an atheist. He don't believe in God.
right.
And they're just talking back and forth. And dude, you can't get up. I just watched it again the other night. Me and my wife watched it again. My wife was like, as many times as I watched this with you, I never know. You can't stop watching it because you want to know what they're going to come up, what they're going to say next. The dialogue, dude, it's like Quentin Tarantino type dialogue. Like, dude, you got to keep watching it. And they
He
don't
does
ever
have
leave
good
the damn
dialogue.
room. They never leave this apartment the whole time, 2 hours long. They don't ever leave the damn apartment. All they're doing is talking. And it's freaking crazy. It is one of the best movies. That's definitely that's my top 4 movie. It might even be my top 3 movie of all times. Because it's just, dude, it's so well written. It's so well done. There ain't no special effects. There ain't no whole bunch of crazy shit going on. It's just 2 guys in a room having a discussion. And it's freaking phenomenal.
Sunset
Yeah, Green
Unlimited.
Mile was a great movie, man. You got to watch that too. Green Mile was a great movie. I didn't
No
really,
Country for Old
I didn't
Men
really
was pretty
care
good.
for like some of the visual effects that they put in there, some of the things that they did. It
Green
was
Mile's
kinda-
the one with
Tom Hanks and
Tom Hanks. Yeah.
and the dude from the one with where they got to destroy the fucking they got to destroy the fucking the asteroid coming at the planet. It got
Armageddon.
everybody in that shit. It got
Armageddon.
yeah,
It's
Armageddon.
got
Yeah.
fucking oh damn, so many actors in that movie.
Yeah, it got the big black dude. I can't remember.
Oh
his
yeah,
name.
yeah.
It
I
got
know what you're
him in
talking
there.
about.
Dude,
He's also in
phenomenal
Pulp
movie.
Fiction. He's the black guy from Pulp Fiction who gets raped.
No. That's Lean Rames or whatever. That's Rames.
Is he not the same guy?
No, it's not the same guy. Because Rames is in Pulp Fiction.
Big black guy from Armageddon. I thought he was the same dude.
No, Rames is the dude that played in what the hell is the one with shit, what the hell is his damn I can't remember
Dude,
what his name
it's
is.
definitely the same guy.
No, it's
Michael
not the-
Clark Duncan is the black guy, right? Michael Clark Duncan.
in thing.
Yeah.
And his Rames is in
I thought for sure Michael Clark
it's
Duncan
in
was
Pulp
in
Fiction. Yeah, it's
Pulp Fiction.
whatever Liam Raines or whatever his first name is.
Dude, I'm tripping. Hold on. Pulp Fiction.
I'm telling you, it's not.
You're right. Oh my
Trust me,
God, I'm
believe
an
me.
idiot.
I
And they
know
look
my
so
actors.
different.
I might
They
not be
look
able to
so
remember all their
different.
names, but I know my actors.
Why did I
especially-
confuse that? I'm an idiot.
I don't
You're
know.
right. You're right.
But yeah,
You're
it's
right. Might be.
a great movie. But they said it was one of the hardest movies to ever film because he couldn't remember his lines and stuff, and they couldn't get him to do the stuff, you know, because he's never had no real big parts. He's always had little parts in movies.
Right.
So they had to like go over his lines with him constantly, and it was a pain in the ass. But the movie turned out phenomenal. Well, it's a great story. It's definitely a great story.
Green Mile. I have to watch it.
Yeah, Green Mile and Sunset Limited. Sunset Limited, dude. I just watched that shit on Wednesday? It was Tuesday or Wednesday. I watched it again. Me and my wife watched it, and my son, my oldest son. And we're all sitting there, and they're like, dude, this is a fucking great movie. I said, man, I don't know how this motherfucker didn't ever make it to the theater. I guess they just didn't ever think that it was people would go watch it because it's just two guys sitting in a room talking.
Right.
With the dialogue in it, what they're talking about, the back and forth, it's just, it's phenomenal.
It sounds like a good movie. Like
It's so good.
just the topic.
It's so good. Like, dude, like I can watch that shit. Like, you know what? I've been watching quite a few movies of. I've been watching a lot of kung fu movies. Like I watched the new IP or Ip Man.
You love
Awakening.
those kung fu movies.
Dude, I watch them because I like the way that Japanese and Chinese do their, like, they don't do a lot of their special effects are more like speed ups. They do like speed ups in the fight scenes to make
Right.
people look faster. It's really minute stuff, but they're really good at directing and drawing your attention. Oh, John, you haven't seen John Wick 4, Chris? I think they got it on Amazon Prime right
It was
now.
good, dude. It was
John Wick
definitely
4.
good.
And he did all of his own stunts. I just watched the making of that. And he did all of his own stuff. So when you see him tumbling down them damn stairs 1,000 times, like, cause they push him down the stairs at the end so many times, he does that over and over and over again. Like, dude, Keanu Reeves is the shit. Oh, yeah, I
HBO.
never forgot to watch it. I've never watched it. I don't know. But I watched like Ip Man.
Warrior?
Ip Man Awakening. Any of the IP mods, because Ip Man is the one who taught Bruce Lee. And Ip Man is dope. That I like all his movies. He had Mike Tyson in one of the movies with him. It's a good movie. They're they're not like great movies or anything. I just like the way that the Japanese and Chinese directors, I don't know, man. They just got a good way of telling a story in the videography and cinematography and stuff. They just got a good way of doing it. It just keeps you captivated. The stories don't even be all that great. Cause, dude, this last movie is like basically a remake of Ip Man 2. This is like the fifth one. And it's like just a remake of the same movie, but it was good. It just, I don't know, they're just good movies. Ip Man 1, the very first one, that's the dopest movie ever. That's one of the dopest movies. I think it's
So
definitely
you
one of the
go
top
watch
20
Warrior. Movies. I'll go watch Green Mile and Sunset Unlimited.
Yeah, all right. I'll watch Warrior, and then I'll come back and tell you what I think. Okay, let's get to the topic. We've been sitting here talking for 20 minutes on the other
That's
movies.
Okay. That's what happens.
Okay, so blockbuster franchises like Star Wars have paved the way for other blockbuster film franchises. Marvel is definitely a cause of Star Wars.
100%.
Harry Potter is definitely a cause of Star Wars.
Harry Potter's a direct ripoff of Star Wars.
It is. It basically is. And that's one of the biggest influential things that Star Wars has done. Star Wars has paved the way for so many other franchises that we have. You know, like seriously, there would be no fucking 20 fucking Halloweens if it wasn't for Star Wars. Like, it would not have happened. The director even said, only reason I kept making them because people kept watching them. So it was like George Lucas. If George Lucas came out, it was in an interview that he said, the only reason that he kept on making them is because George Lucas told him he wasn't going to ever stop making Star Wars, which we found out that not to be true. But, you know, at the time in the 80s, I guess, when this was said, that,
Cue
you
the
know,
sad violin music.
that's like one of the biggest things. What is done on TV, what is done, that's probably one of the biggest TV. Like, shit, there's so many TV shows that have references to Star Wars. Big Bang Theory.
Oh my gosh.
Family Guy,
Family
American
Guy,
Dad.
Robot Chicken, American
Robot
Dad.
Chicken, The Simpsons.
That 70s show.
That 70s show. Like, there's so many. We could be sitting here running off, like, damn near every TV. Philadelphia, shit. There's
Tommy Boy.
Tommy Boy. Like, there's so many movies and TV shows. Music, there's like I looked it up yesterday. There's over 120 songs in the rap, just in rap. I didn't even look up everybody. I just looked up rap.
That's what's crazy to me.
120 songs that have a Star Wars reference in rap music.
In rap music? Really?
In rap music. Yeah.
I had no idea.
I had no idea, and I listen to rap. That's what I
What
listen
song?
to every day. There's a bunch of them. Like, I didn't save the list. I didn't save the list on the thing. I just looked it up. I was just looking up references and stuff because I knew this was the topic.
I know epic rap battles of history, and that's some fire rap music.
They have like 120 rap songs that's ever been made have Star Wars references in them. Some about Star Wars, like I'll kill you with a lightsaber, you know what I'm saying? Like my blunt off my lightsaber, or I took some X and seen a lightsaber, or something that has to do with Star Wars. 120 songs. Movies.
You're spitting
There
some
was
fire
over
lyrics,
1,000
Kyle.
references to Star Wars in movies.
Oh, yeah.
Over 1,000 movies have a Star Wars reference in it.
Yeah, I can see that.
Television, no, there's too many. They said that there was too many to count. They couldn't even find all of them. They got to like 10,000 and they stopped looking in television.
Sounds about right.
So just the influence that Star Wars had on the content that we create or the content that we consume is outlandish. Like, dude, so much content comes from Star Wars. Talking about droids, having droids in something, some type of reference that has to do with Star Wars. When it comes to, now you have to look at it, it actually revived something that had died, the space opera. A lot of people think that Star Wars was the first space opera to come out, and it wasn't. There was a lot of space operas. Basically, like, everything that had to do with space before that was considered a space opera.
A space odyssey.
Star Wars revived the space opera. I thought Star Wars, like, honestly, and I'll be honest with everybody, I thought Star Wars was the only space opera. But then I started researching that, yeah, there's a lot of other shit that was Star Wars opera. I think Flash Gordon was considered a space opera. There's several.
That's true. Chris, lightsabers are probably the most iconic fantasy weapon of all time. That's
all time.
Yeah, 100%.
All times.
100%.
Guarantee, if you just look up lightsaber, you could be on Google for probably the next 5 years and never get to the end of the list.
Yeah, that's why I think the name Lightsaber Radio was just such a good call. Who thought of that? Oh, yeah, I did. I'm just kidding.
I thought Mark said.
No, that was me. I'm the one who came up with that. Don't take that away from me, Kyle.
I don't know. I can't remember. That shit was 2 years ago. Like, I'm supposed to remember that
was a
far
long
back.
time ago.
Yeah, we've been, dude, this is our 173rd episode.
Really?
Yep.
Congratulations.
We're almost at 175 episodes.
Congratulations,
We're
Kyle.
probably over that because some of the episodes ain't numbered. Because we got
That's
some
true.
episodes, like when we talked about the Boba Fett thing, it wasn't numbered. But
Yeah, that's true.
numbered episodes, we're at 173 right now. I'm pretty sure if you look at the YouTube channel, we have over 200 videos. But, and I think the first 16 of them were just audio, and I just put it in the background because we was doing it just on Spotify before we decided to come
to a live.
But yeah, we got a gang of videos. So it revived the resurgence of the epic space adventure on big screen. It really did. It revived that. And that's why the studios was telling George Lucas, hey, this isn't gonna work. Space shit is dead. Don't nobody care about space no more. Blah 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 blah. And Star Wars comes out, it blows up. Then we get
Revived.
E.T. We get the third. What is it? What's the third one? The other Spielberg movie.
I don't know.
It's the other Alien one. I can't think of the name of it.
Alien?
No, it wasn't Alien.
What other alien one? The Muppets.
No, Muppets in
Men
Space.
in Black.
No, that's like it's older than that.
Gremlins.
Gremlins is pretty old, but I think it's older than Gremlins. No, it's not E.T. It's the other one that Spielberg did. The third.
There's something
it has a
out
3
there.
in it. It has a 3 in the name, if I'm not mistaken. The third.
Way of the Worlds.
No,
War of the Worlds.
no. I think Worlds is pretty old too,
Fablemans.
but I'm pretty sure Spielberg did it. Was it Scorsese? I don't know. Anyway, there's basically a bunch more Star Trek started making movies. There's so many space stuff, but Star Wars is what brought it back to reality.
BFG, Big Fucking Giant.
No,
Hook.
no.
I don't know anymore.
It's
Yeah,
one
dude.
of the
I don't think
biggest movies ever.
I don't think Steven Spielberg wrote any other alien movies.
It's a space movie, but it had aliens in it where they came to Earth and the people got on it and okay, now you guys got me looking shit up because now I'm tripping out like, dude, was it Spielberg?
Arrival.
No,
Prometheus.
older than that.
Extinction.
it's older than that.
Superman.
Oh, it wasn't Superman.
Life. No, that's too new. Dune.
No, it wasn't Dune. Well, Dune came out before
Star Wars.
Star Wars did. The original
District
Dune
9.
did. No. It's Encounters of the Third Kind.
God damn it.
Is that the name of it?
Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Yeah, close. Oh, shit, Star Wars Team Leader put it out.
Yeah,
So,
I know. That's what I'm saying.
them is movies that were all inspired by George Lucas.
God
or
damn,
by
that took
Star Wars.
forever.
I just couldn't think of enough. It was right on it. I knew it had a 3 in it. Like
I knew it had a 3 in it.
So some shit. Oh, okay. But
Star Wars Episode 3. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah, but it is complete. So it revived the Star Wars or the
space.
epic interest in space adventures on the brand. It did the space opera generation. Now, it also created some of the most iconic characters that the culture has ever seen, and basically every genre of movie has mimicked this character, one of these characters, somehow. Characters like Luke Skywalker, the young guy that's, trying to find his way in the world. That has been done billions of times over and over again in movies. Damn near every movie we see nowadays has something to do with the underdog, and he was the underdog guy. They captivated the villain with Darth Vader. They made the villain be cool again. George made the villain be you wanted to be the villain. You wanted to be the bad guy. It also sparked a major majority in the biker gang terminology. And I just read this article yesterday. There's a shit ton of biker gangs that actually they're like third in command or fourth in command or something like that are called the Vaders. They're like the fucking
What?
yeah, they're actually called the biker gangs. Like
What the
freaking the
fuck?
Hells Angels, Sons of Silence, Banditos and shit. They have a position in their top ranking that's called the Vader position. And he's almost like an enforcer.
That's kind of cool.
There's been multiple movies. Gremlins was based off the looks of Yoda, even though they were like evil gremlin looking things. That's why they called them gremlin. But their looks was based off of Yoda. So that's where Yoda has came as a cultural icon. Plus, so many sayings, how many people have said, you don't try, you do. You know what I'm saying? That whole saying
Do or do
came
not, there is no
from
try.
Yoda. There is no try, you just do it. You know
Just do it. Yeah. Nike copied
do it.
Star Wars.
So many different references to that. And that's just with just films and simple things. There's so many different 7-Elevens done use Star Wars references in their commercials, Kroger's, Walmart. Like, there's so many to list. Like, that's just the ones that I remember off the top of the head of the list that I've seen. There's like so many commercials that have a Star Wars reference in. The Super Bowls use a Star Wars reference in it. Like the Major League Baseball,
Yeah.
NBA.
They have Star Wars nights.
They have Star Wars nights. Like, dude, it's so crazy.
Disney's milking it for all it's worth.
May the Force be with you. And I am your father.
true.
Do or do not. There is no try.
What other movie has a day? No
Has a
other
what?
movie has its own day to celebrate the movie.
No other movie does.
May the
That just
4th.
tells you. And they're really pushing. There's a couple of congressmen. I read a thing. There's a couple of congressmen that's getting it pushed to have that a
Which
national
congressman?
holiday.
They need to be elected to president.
They want to make that a national holiday. So there's some senators and some congressmen that have put this bill into a thing to make Star Wars Day a national holiday. Because
makes
it's the
more
biggest
sense than some of the
franchise
other
that's ever
holidays we
been
have.
in the world. It is the only franchise, and this is crazy when I read this. It's the only franchise that has been shown in every single continent. Every continent, every tribe, like African tribes that don't even have TVs, they have seen.
Yeah, they
Star
showed it to
Wars.
the penguins in Antarctica.
Yeah. The Star Wars is the only franchise that's been watched on every continent in this world, including Antarctica. Because the guys in Antarctica, they watched it when they were down there doing an exposition. They watched Star Wars when they were down there. It's the only movie that they watched. They just watched Star Wars. They didn't watch no other movie. So Star Wars is the only fucking thing that's ever been watched in Antarctica. That's dope as shit. That just tells you. But these phrases like "May the Force be with you," "I am your father," and "Do or do not, there is no try," are icons and popular. It's been used in music. It's been used in TV. It's been used in books. It's been used on clothing. It's been used, everything you can possibly imagine has been used on cups, fucking popsicle sticks, fucking inside of Chinese fortune cookies. Everything. It's been in there. All three of them sayings have been in everything. You can imagine it, it's been there. It's probably been on some dog shit somewhere. Somebody stamped it in some dog shit just to be funny. Because that would be something that I would do. Just let my dog shit in
That sounds like
"May the
something
Force
you'd
be
be
with
funny.
you" on it.
That
would be
sounds like
funny
something
as-
Kyle would do.
That would be funny as shit. Come outside, somebody come outside. Who the hell let they dog shit? "May the Force be with you." I would do that. That's what I do.
Kyle just came up with this next great idea. This is what he's
I'm gonna
dedicating
make a
his
short
week
film
to.
about dog shitting in people's yard and me stamping "May the Force be with you" on it. That shit'll be hilarious. But yeah, them are the most iconic sayings ever. They've been said on everything. They're the most said things ever. Let's see. I have a list here.
Memes.
Lightsabers are and Chris said earlier, they're the most iconic weapon ever created. And their references have been on everything. Everything from ice cream to dog food to lightsabers have been everywhere. They are the most referenced, used icon, and they've been referred in countless other films, TV shows, and media, including, dude, you gotta think about it. On Instagram, I think Star Wars is number 3 as one of the most searched terms on Star Wars, 3 or 4 on most searched terms, especially
Really?
Star Wars cosplay. I don't know why Star Wars cosplay is up there, because everybody wants to see that shit because it's awesome.
Everybody wants to jerk it to naked Star Wars chicks.
Yeah, I mean, that probably happens too. But and lightsaber dueling has become a symbol that it's actually a national sport now. They actually have contests where you can win money to go fence with lightsabers. Like it's a fucking sport, which is crazy. It became a sport, lightsaber dueling. That is
Yep.
just crazy. When it comes to the expanded universe, books, comics, and video games have inspired similar and expanded universe in other franchises such as Star Trek and Marvel. Star Wars as a franchise has I think it's in the top 20 of the most written word out there. So written shit that's written in books, comics, shit like that, it has more than, I think it's in the top 20 of all franchises to have media in written or audio formatted. I think it said written because I think there's books that you can't even, that they have out that's not audio books and comics that are, well, of course, comics you can't really get in audio form. So that's crazy when you think about it. Like, dude, they have like their top 20 for franchises and the most books ever written about a subject, about Star Wars. I think overall, I think Marvel and DC are top because they just had comic books for way longer than Star Wars did. Because their comic books have been coming out since like the fucking 20s. But Star Wars is in, I think it said the top 20. It might have said the top 10. But I'm trying to remember everything on, 2 hours of sleep. Then the merchandise phenomenon.
Oh my God.
How many times in a day, I don't give a fuck where you go on this fucking planet. You go outside in public, you see somebody wearing some type of Star Wars shirt.
Yeah,
it's not
dude,
Star
it's
Wars,
unavoidable.
it's Baby Yoda, Mandalorian, Rogue One. Something that has to do with Star Wars. You'll see somebody wearing something that has to do with Star Wars. You'll see a bumper sticker. You're going to see something if you go outside in public anytime.
Yeah.
You're going to see something that refers
It's
to Star
unavoidable.
There's too much of it. And when it comes to the concept of the merchandise, you have to think it paved the way for like Marvel, DC, all these other people to come out with action figures because before Star Wars, there wasn't no fucking Captain American action figures and shit like that. Even though there was comics and there had been movies made about like, Batman and shit like that. They had no action figures.
Really?
George Lucas captivated the merchandising fucking thing. That's why he kept the merchandising right. He didn't sell his merchandising right. But that's why he captivated on that shit, and they had more fucking like merchandise than any other franchise ever. Like they got so much. Like, dude, just go on Amazon or eBay and just put in Star Wars and see how much fucking shit you'll be there for.
Or because CJ's not here, Etsy.
Or Etsy, yeah. You will find so much Star Wars merchandise. It is fucking crazy. It is just, it'll blow your mind how much Star Wars merchandise is. And it really captivated how pronounced it merchandising was for a franchise. Like, I think, honestly, if there wasn't merchandise for Star Wars would not be the franchise that it is today. I think merchandise played
100%. That's like half the reason Disney still does stuff is merchandise.
It's like literally half the reason why. Because you got to look at a lot of people that only stayed in contact with Star Wars really because they were collectors. They started collecting Star Wars. I've heard collectors say, I don't even like the movies, but I like collecting action figures. I like collecting all the different stormtroopers and all that. It's like, dude, but you don't like the movies? What the fuck is wrong with you? You need to get smacked in the mouth for even saying that. But, like, dude, merchandise, big part. Then we have to give props to John Williams.
The God.
John Williams'
the
score
GOAT. The GOAT.
is the most iconic music composed ever and became a symphony of epic cinematic storytelling and influenced film scores across the generation. John Williams, because of Star Wars, has done shit for every franchise out there. He's done music for everybody. But if it wasn't for Star Wars, John Williams would have never got his fucking big break. And he would have never been able to make the most iconic music in movies ever been made, that's ever been made. John Williams is the GOAT when it comes to making cinematic music for movies, and he got his start with Star Wars. He really got his start with Star Wars. Star Wars was what gave him his big break. And now, shit, Marvel, fucking, you name it, John Williams has done some music for that shit. TV series, fucking everything. John Williams is the shit. So we got to give props to John Williams. We got to give props to Star Wars for giving John Williams his big break and making his music the most iconic and most epic cinematic storytelling music ever created. And that shit is on music. It's in music videos. People have sampled so much of John. Damn near every meme you fucking see has John Williams music playing behind it. You know what I'm saying? It's the shit. It is seriously one of the fucking best things about fucking Star Wars that there is. We got John Williams, and John Williams has created so much shit. So big shout out to John Williams. Then we got special effects advancements. If it wasn't for George Lucas starting ILM and the effects that he wanted to put into films right now, we wouldn't have fucking none of the film techniques that are influenced by the industry. We wouldn't have none of that shit. He pushed the boundaries, and every single movie, music video, even music audio, our cell phones, everything is based off of fucking the stuff that George Lucas and ILM came up with. If it wasn't for Star Wars, we might be talking on CBs. I'm pretty sure somebody would have came out with it, but it's because of the technology that they designed it. Every single film technique, most of the fucking new special effects that we see in movies are made by ILM. And, you know, George Lucas was the creator of all that shit. So Star Wars, because of Star Wars, all of these things we have that give us these wonderful things is there because of Star Wars. That's how much influence Star Wars has on pulp culture. You got to think, you watch a music video and they do some type of effect in that music video. A cut scene, all that stuff was done by Star Wars. It was first done by Star Wars. Nobody did it like that before Star Wars came out. The cut scenes were done different. The fades were done different. Everything was done in previous movies different till Star Wars came out. Star Wars changed the way the filmmaking was just done. So if you watch a music video and you see a certain thing, it came from Star Wars. Basically, and every director from the point of George Lucas till now, except for Quentin Tarantino, because he just does weird shit, but that's what makes him his own person. But he still will tell you that George Lucas is one of his biggest influences. All of that is because of George Lucas and the special effects that because he wanted to do something in a movie, so they had to figure out how to do it. And every single movie that's came out since then has been based on that premise. And that's why Star Wars is such a big influence in the filmmaking. It's the greatest. It's the shit.
It's the shit.
Fan conventions. Wasn't nobody doing fan conventions before Star Wars. There wasn't no Star Wars Day. There wasn't no Star Wars celebration. There wasn't no other franchise had ever done no shit like that until Star Wars came about. No franchise until Star Wars came out had created a fucking cataclysmic fan base like Star Wars. Star Wars created a fan base that has just went through generations of fans, and it keeps on expanding. It has the biggest fan base out of any franchise ever. And it's because of things like Star Wars Celebration and, like the fan conventions, Comic-Cons and stuff like that. Even though Comic-Con, but Star Wars plays a big part in Comic-Con because there wasn't no Comic-Con before Star Wars was out. They didn't have a Comic-Con before 77. I think the first Comic-Con was 1980. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. I'm an idiot. But, I'm pretty sure it was 1980 was the first Comic-Con. But Star Wars Celebration and doing these type of Comic-Cons is all based on the fandom's popularity of the concept of Star Wars.
Yeah. Even, you got to think, even people who don't like Star Wars can at least, quote Star Wars lines.
Well, you get people that ain't Star Wars fans that go to Star Wars Celebration just because it's a fucking thing to do. They might not even be a fan. They might be a fan once they leave. Oh, Chris said it was in 1970. So I was wrong. I thought it was 80.
Oh, you're wrong.
But still, it got big because of Star Wars. It really got big because of Star Wars. You got to think about it. It really did. Star Wars coming into the Comic-Con scenes and bringing in the actors to sign autographs and shit like that. That's one of the things that Harrison Ford said that he hated doing. He hated doing it. He hated going and signing autographs and shit like that. He was like, I didn't like doing it. I don't like talking to fans. I'm an introvert. I don't like being around people like that. I don't like doing interviews. I don't like doing that stuff. He never has. And they made him go to Comic-Cons and celebrations and talk, and he didn't want to do it, but they made him do it. So, but they got big because of Star Wars. Look it up. You can look that up. I guarantee that that's the truth. They got big because of Star Wars, because of Star Wars fandom. Fan conventions, you know, they be having thousands and thousands of attendees. I mean, shit. They sell out within like seconds. They sell out like concerts. It's like going to see Beyonce. Fucking concert ticket is $10,000. They're sold out in fucking 30 seconds. That's how going to try to get the Star Wars celebration is. They say the sellout is like less than a minute. That's why they have to do multiple days of ticket sales. They can't do one day of ticket sales because they'll sell out the whole convention in one day. That's how big celebration is. It's like going to a Beyonce concert or a Michael Jackson concert. That's what they compared it to. The article I was reading, Star Wars Celebration, getting a ticket to Star Wars Celebration is like fucking trying to get a ticket to Beyonce or, you know what I'm saying, fucking Michael Jackson or Prince or some shit. Then, Star Wars team leader said it was a spin-off of the World Fairs because there was a decline and Comic-Cons were meant to bring a new spin. Then there's the homage of the parodies and the TV shows that's been made into parodies, movies, comedy sketches, becoming a touchstone, one of the touchstones for comedic material. There's so much comedic material. Every comic has used a Star Wars reference. Even Richard Pryor, Kevin Hart has done it. Freaking everybody. Joe Rogan. If you know of a comic, they've used a Star Wars reference somewhere in their comedian thing.
I gotta pause. I gotta pee so bad. Hold on. Keep going.
I'll keep going. And then you have all the parodies. You have all of the fan-made films. You go on Star Wars. You can sit there and just go on YouTube and watch fan-made Star Wars short films and full-length features and everything for days. There is so many of them. I've tried to watch a bunch of them, and yeah, you get burnt out. But there's so many fan films that have been made for Star Wars. Nobody else is making fan films for, you know, Avengers or, you know, DC or Marvel or stuff like that. I mean, they're doing it. They're making fan films, but there's nowhere close to being as many as Star Wars. Then probably one of the biggest things that shows the popularity of Star Wars in today's culture, in the pop culture today, is cosplay. The becoming of a Star Wars character is like it's just like the cosmic strings being put into place to find like your ultimate costume. Who has the ultimate Star Wars cosplay? Who is the best cosplayer out there? What does it take to be a cosplayer? Like learning learning that character enough that you can go be that character at a Comic-Con. You know, you're dressing like them, but not only are you dressing like them and doing makeup and all this stuff, people put in thousands and thousands of hours into making costumes and doing makeup and everything to go to Comic-Cons. We got the street Mandalorian. This dude just walks around in his Mandalorian costume and talks to kids on the weekends. I mean, so much cosplay. Cosplay, I think, is probably one of the biggest factors of how it affects and influences the culture today. Because if you go to any type of event, Comic-Con, you know, RidCon, celebrations, you're going to see people in some type of Star Wars cosplay. I don't care what it's for. if it has anything to do with scientific or sci-fi, it's going to have some Star Wars. You go to most hospitals. On a weekend, you're going to see someone in a Star Wars cosplay talking to the kids in the cancer ward.
I can see that.
It happens because it's such a big influence. There's a couple of teachers that are actually using Star Wars to teach politics in their classrooms. They're showing how politics of Star Wars applies to the same politics. I think they're in Ohio, if I remember correctly. I think they're in Cincinnati, Ohio. They're using Star Wars to teach kids about politics, how politics works, the difference between a government and a dictator, the difference of how elections happen. They're using Star Wars to show children, probably young adults, because I don't think you learn about politics in elementary school, but middle school you start learning about politics. They're showing these kids this. That is phenomenal. Star Wars has impacted the entire community of the world in a way that no other franchise has ever done. And cosplay is, I think, one of the biggest factors in the last 10 years of why the franchise is as big as it is. You see cosplayers everywhere. You can't go on Instagram and flick through Instagram or Facebook or Twitter without coming across the cosplayer. It's impossible. There's too many. Like, if you literally went into Instagram right now and put in Star Wars cosplay, you could probably look at that for a year and never, get to the end of it. Yeah. There's so many people that's doing cosplay. And it's phenomenal. It's great. It's so wonderful that we have the people that have the time and the money. Or not even the money. Some of these people are making this out of, just stuff they have laying around their house. And it's so good. It's so good. I have to give major props, major shout outs to cosplayers. Cosplay is the fucking shit. If you got the time to do cosplay, I think every Star Wars fan should make a costume and do it and go to one of the events at least one time in their life. You will be so amazed. Like, I thought I was going to get, because I went to the St. Louis, it wasn't Comic-Con, it was, I can't remember, what was it, St. Louis, something anyway. I dressed up as Darth Sway. You don't know how many people, came up to me, who are you? Oh, man, you're in Star Wars. What book are you from? Blah, blah. And I'm like, I just made up my character. Oh, man, that's so cool. You know what I'm saying? Blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? It was amazing. Little kids coming up wanting to shake my hand and take pictures with me. And it was one of the greatest feelings that I have ever felt in my entire career of working in the entertainment industry. I've never felt that good. I felt so wonderful. That's how I don't understand Harrison Ford don't like doing shit like that. I'm like, dude, that shit made me feel great. I feel so good just because I made other people happy. I made kids happy. I made other people happy. People want to take pictures with me, and it just was so cool. And in all honesty, unless you know me from Instagram or from this YouTube channel, most people didn't even know who I was. It was kind of cool. You don't even know who I am. I could be some dirtball rapist and you wouldn't even know.
Damn, no. You just had to go there.
Hey, because I'm pretty sure there's some asshole out there that done dressed up in cosplay for some very dark things. I'm pretty sure there's some asshole out there that has some fucked up mind that thought, if I dress up like Darth Vader, I can rape a bunch of little kids.
Who's the clown guy? John Wayne Gacy. Fuck, that's it.
Yeah, see,
John Wayne Gacy.
I count that. The influence that Star Wars has had on some of the best directors that we have. J.J. Abrams, Rian Johnson, which I don't know if we classify as Rian Johnson as a great director. Scorsese, Steven Spielberg have all just been, and they will tell you that they have been influenced by Star Wars in their own work. They have used themes from Star Wars in their own work. Like every director that we have out right now will tell you at some point in time they used something that Star Wars did, storytelling technique or visual arts technique or something in one of their movies. Every single one of them. Every single one of them that there is. Quentin Tarantino, in an interview that I was watching that he did, he said that he shot in 35 millimeter film. And the reason he loves to shoot in 35 millimeter film is because the way that the original Star Wars looked being shot on 35 millimeter film. That's why he likes to shoot everything in, 8, 16 or 35 millimeter, or 35 millimeter, 32 or whatever it is, millimeter film. He likes that because the way that Star Wars made him feel when he watched Star Wars. That tells you, and Quentin Tarantino is probably top 10 best directors of all times and storytellers of all times. They've all used, some type of technique, theme in their own work. And that just shows you the influence that Star Wars had. Star Wars changed the world in 1977, and it's just been slowly and steadily becoming more part of pop culture since that day. Since that day, it's just been coming more and more. And it's just phenomenal. It also opened up a direction for more space exploration and science movies. You got to think, we wouldn't have got Aliens, Predator, any of these movies if Star Wars wouldn't have never came out. That genre just wasn't there. Everybody said that genre was dead. The space exploration genre was dead. And we've got some great movies since then. Some great movies. And I'm not talking about Halloween in Space. That was not a great movie. That was terrible. But we have got some great movies from Star Wars. And it's because of Star Wars we've got these movies. We would never have gotten none of these movies if George would not have opened the door up in 1977 when he came out with Star Wars. That's the influence that Star Wars has on the culture. And we have, Star Wars has influenced pop culture, but it's also influenced filmmaking in general because it just keeps going. We could have been done with New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. It could have been finished there. George could have never came out with nothing else, but he came out with the prequels, and it just leapfrogged the sale of Star Wars, the Clone Wars, all the new movies, the TV series, everything that we have right now about Star Wars came because of the original three. The original three would not have been as good as they were, and they weren't just completely changed the culture of the planet, we would have never had the rest of this. So it shows how influential this Star Wars is. I'm going to see Transformers this afternoon. We wouldn't have Transformers if it wasn't for freaking Star Wars. We wouldn't have
You
them.
don't think so?
I don't think we'll never have none. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of hard to say that we wouldn't ever have, because I think creativity, there's been a lot of creative people, but I don't think that it would look and it would be done as well as it's been done if we didn't have things like Star Wars that created the technology in order for them to do these type of movies. You gotta understand, most of the VFX and stuff like that, yeah, they've grown and people came out with new ideas, but the generalization of all of them started with ILM and Star Wars. The ability to create something that was never even thought of before. Before they was fucking hanging shit with strings and flying it through a green screen and you know what I'm saying? And it was black and white and shit. And a lot of them old movies, you could see the string hanging from that shit. Like, damn, y'all couldn't, because they didn't know how to crop out shit like that. That shit was created by ILM. Cropping out of image and shit like that was all started with George Lucas and ILM and Star Wars. That's where they started doing that shit. Learning how to crop out shit in a certain way and do certain things. And all that shit was created because they created Star Wars. We wouldn't have that shit. We'd still be looking at, I'm pretty sure people would have came up with the technology. Somebody would have came out with
it.
Eventually somebody would have came out with it. But because of George and them, we have it now. We might not have that type of technology now. It might have been 30 years from now before we got to where the technology is at right now.
I still think we'd have it by now.
I don't think we would have it by now, because you got to figure, it came out in 1977. If it took 10 more years, say it came out instead of 1977, it came out in 1987. That would put us 10 years behind the technology that we're at right now. So you got to look at it as the truth of the matter. The truth of the matter is because George Lucas and ILM and the creators of Star Wars came out with this technology and kept building on this technology, got us to where we're at today. Not to saying that nobody else would have ever came out with it. So I'm pretty sure all this technology would have already came out, but I just don't think we would have had it as soon as we would have had it. We would not be at where we're at with if it was not for Star Wars. And it just keeps growing. It keeps growing because every time they come out with a new Star Wars movie or TV show, I mean, come on, they just built the dome. We didn't have no technology. There wasn't nobody doing no shit like that before. We got a giant building that's full of TVs that creates complete backgrounds and moves with the characters. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have that before. Now we have that. Now they can film everything on location and you can't even tell that that's just not real because they got a bunch of high definition TVs in the background telling you, and it's moving with the characters and moving with the landscape and everything. Like, dude, that shit is phenomenal what they can do. Dude, if it wasn't for Star Wars, do you think right now we would be looking at flat panel TVs right now?
I think so.
I don't think it would be out yet. I really don't think it would be out yet because all that type of technology was created by ILM. The flat panel TV was the idea of it was created by ILM to be able to do that, to get motion graphics.
We might not be as advanced as we are now, but I think we would have gotten here by now.
But then the impact on video games. Now I don't know if this is a great impact. I don't know if this is a great impact because there's a lot of dumbass kids that don't leave the house because of video games. And my son being one of them, because he'll sit there and play video games forever. Like, dudes, do something. Like, do anything. Just do something. Get the fuck out the house, man. Go outside. Shit, what the fuck is wrong with you? You've been here playing video games for the whole week. But Star Wars video games such as Battlefront and Knights of the Old Republic have influenced the gaming industry and set the bar for immersive storytelling video games. They have set the bar very high for those.
Big time.
It's definitely a major impact on pop culture. Because not that they were the first video games or, you know, that they did anything revolutionized in the video games, but when it came to storytelling, they're one of the top gaming companies or top games that have to do with storytelling within the game. I think that has to go to, you know, probably who would you say would be the person, the game that recognized the most for storytelling in that type of
say again, what game has the best storytelling?
No, what game would you give, like which game really started the storytelling? Like
in Star Wars or just in general, dude? I don't know. I didn't.
Like Mario Brothers.
That's a great question.
Because they had some, you know, they were story based. You know, you had to go through and figure this shit out. And that was like
some kind of RPG game, yeah.
Atari, one of them original, you know, Nintendo games.
Maybe like Legend of Zelda, dude.
I think Zelda had a freaking long ass story.
Yeah, that was like one of the, I don't know, at least that was one of the first stories I played. But I'm the wrong person to ask. You probably ought to ask CJ. I like games, but I'm not into like games. Like, I don't know as much about the history of games, I guess.
I know. I remember playing Zelda, and that was the first game that I remember playing that was like story based. Like, I don't know, Mario Brothers was kind of story based because you had to complete all the levels.
Yeah, but very basic story based.
Yeah, but Zelda had like an actual story.
I think the stories kind of evolved as the games evolved, you know?
But I think that Battlefront and them, because it's kind of hard to say that, you know, because you had shit like fucking Grand Theft Auto. You had, you know, them fucking games was like fucking crazy when it came to story.
Yeah.
Like, so I don't know if Star Wars played that big of a part, but I know it's part in there, and shit, fucking the fandom goes nuts when there's an announcement for a new fucking game. That's all you'll hear for fucking months. New game coming out. That motherfucker ain't coming out. Took them 12 years to get Survivor out. What are you talking about?
Hey,
shit ain't coming the fuck out.
I have hope. I'm just excited for that Ubisoft game. I will say that every episode of this podcast until that game comes out. I'm so excited for the Ubisoft one.
And then redefining the heroes and villains. I think the Star Wars, and this is just my personal opinion. Watching movies, it redefined who the hero and the villain was.
I think it
Because
gave
somebody that you thought was the
Yeah.
villain became the hero.
and it gave you more insight into the villains.
Yeah,
And like the villains are people. They're not just evil.
asshole.
Yeah.
Fucking, they're not Hitler. You know what I'm saying? Like all villains before Darth Vader was a Hitler. They were just Hitler. They were just bad guys. They didn't
Yeah.
have no good feelings.
No reason, no rhyme. Like they're just evil.
And I think Star Wars definitely changed our outlook on villains and heroes. And that's the stuff that I came up with. Other than it's multicultural, which I've said that with a lot of them.
Right.
Star Wars is probably the one thing that is the most multicultural and is just everywhere. Everywhere you go, you can hear something about Star Wars, or somebody has seen Star Wars everywhere, except in the little dumbass town that I live in.
Except this dumbass town that I live in.
Because it seems like there's no Star Wars fucking fans out here. Because I be looking for them and I don't find them nowhere. Every great once in a while, I'll see a bumper sticker. That's it.
Wow, wow, wow.
It's definitely. So, what do you think are some of the? Did I cover them all?
You covered a lot of them. I think memes are a big part.
Yeah, memes are definitely a big part.
I'm loving the memes.
I think one of the very first memes that I ever seen was a Star Wars meme. If I remember back, which I don't know, I'm full of shit because I've probably seen 1,000 memes, but the one that I remember seeing is a Star Wars thing. It was a Star Wars one. It was Darth Vader and it had something to do with Mother's Day or some shit, but it was a meme. And it was like the very first one that I can remember seeing, which I probably seen more before that, but I know that I love making Star Wars memes. They're fun to make. What else?
Dude, I don't know. You kind of, it was pretty long. You covered a lot of bases there.
I'm sorry. When we talked about it last night, I started doing research.
I got you.
Saying? I literally burnt my laptop up doing research. I'm at the other studio. We're working on the edit for the short film, and I'm just like looking shit up because I'm trying to get as much information. Because, dude, I don't think there's anything else ever in the history of time that's influenced pop culture as much as Star Wars. And now I'm not just saying that because I'm a fan of Star Wars, because I love Star Wars. I'm saying that because when you look at it in a generalization, dude, there's so much Star Wars shit. So much Star Wars shit. Compared to everything else, like, you don't see as much as you, like, you walk around, you see people wearing, Avengers shirts and Captain America and shit like that. But, like, dude, it's nowhere close to being what Star Wars is. Like, nowhere. And most people that are, like, fucking Marvel fans, if you ask them, they're Star Wars fans, too, which I'm a Marvel fan. I like Marvel. I like DC. But, I like the storyline of the underdog superhero type person, you know what I'm saying, becoming a hero. I like to see that. That's like, it's probably the most told story ever. You know what I'm saying? Even though if you think about it, in the prequel trilogy, it's fucking not that. It's the unsung hero turns into the bad guy. You know what I'm saying? Kills everybody. But the overall story, he ends up being good at the end.
Yeah. And
you know what I'm saying? So
it's such a good story about, like, I think it's one of the reasons it's so widespread is because the story that so many of us can relate to. It's that good and bad within every one of us, and that pull from both good and bad for every one of us. You know what I mean? And how no matter how far some of us can stray or feel like we've strayed, there is redemption. There is the ability to do good, even in some of the most lost people.
Unless you're Ted Bundy and you kill 1,000 people and then there ain't no coming back. Your ass is going to prison. You're going to be somebody's bitch for a long time, for the rest of your life. Ain't no coming back from that. You might be all right in prison. You might come back in prison, but it's too late. You ain't ever getting out. You're done. But I was just, basically what I did is I just did the research and I just tried to look at some of the biggest things that how it's an impact. There's a bunch of little things, people, I mean, we had a whole show about how Star Wars has changed us as people, right. Our outlooks on life because of watching Star Wars. But the story that Star Wars tells is a story that damn near every movie tells. Every movie star, John Wick, he's a guy. You know what I'm saying? He's the most lethal assassin ever. And he was just trying to be cool. And they had to kill his dog. And then it just started a rampage where he kills every bad guy on the planet. You know what I'm saying? He kills everybody. For 4 days, he kills everybody.
He's still killing people.
You know
They're going
what
to
I'm
come out
saying?
with the fifth one.
It's basically the underdog story. He's just a guy. He's not bothering nobody, and somebody fucks with him, and then he kills everybody, and he shows how badass he really is. Luke Skywalker, some fucking moisture farmer that's, wants to get away from his fucking aunt and uncle and fucking living on a desert planet and ends up saving the galaxy. You know what I'm saying? It's that underdog story. It's just, I'm just a guy, or I'm just a girl, and I just want to be left alone, and I want adventure. That's the fundamentals of almost every storyline of every major movie is about that. The Avengers is losing, and then they come back and win. And, every story is about, Rocky. He's getting his ass whooped by Apollo in the first movie. He loses. He don't even win in the first movie.
Right.
He wins in the second movie. It's the underdog story. It's those type of stories that just impact us because we can relate to them. Because we all feel like that all the time. But Star Wars did it in a way that it's done went across time, space, don't matter your ethnicity, your if you're a man or a woman or transgender, doesn't matter, because you can relate to that. It's about overcoming obstacles in order to get to the end, and that's basically what it is. And we can all relate to that. And George, when he wrote this, he knew that. And I think that's one of the things that Disney does it. They just don't do a very good job of the story of what the meaning of the story is supposed to be. They don't do a great job of that. But even the story that they say is still that story. That's why, even though we can sit back and be like, we don't like the sequel, but to let that shit come on and we sit there and watch it. I don't like the sequels. I can't stand the sequels, but let that shit come on. You'll be sitting right in front of the TV watching this shit. Like, damn, look at Ray. Man, why didn't they make, Finn the Jedi? But you watch the whole damn thing. You don't know why. You keep watching it. It's Star Wars. The story is there. Now, the Book of Boba Fett, it wasn't no underdog story.
I won't watch that. I won't watch that.
It was just,
I won't watch Book of Boba
Boba Fett was already badass, and then you just showed him turning into nobody.
Yeah, there's some Star Wars I still won't watch. Let's be honest.
But overall, the influence that Star Wars has done on the world. I'm not even going to say pop culture, because it has changed pop culture, especially all the way up till today. But the world, it has changed the world. It has literally changed the entire world. I wonder how many wars that we would have got into if it wasn't for Star Wars.
What?
Like, I think that there's been times that, like, some shit had to do. I really believe this in my heart, that there would have been a war. But people were like, hey, man, did you watch Star Wars? This kind of happened in Star Wars. We probably shouldn't do this. It might be a bad idea.
Sure.
I'm pretty sure it's happened. Because every culture has watched Star Wars. Like, dude, I was watching the thing. It was on National Geographic. And it was an African tribe. They had just got their first TV. It was like some tribe. These people were still eating people. You know what I'm saying? They're a cannibalistic tribe in Africa, in Middle Africa. And some white people came in, like some Christianity cult or whatever, came in to teach them Christianity or whatever, to help them out. And they had a TV, and they put on Star Wars. And all the stuff to watch, they put on Star Wars. And I'm watching National Geographic, like, hey, man, they're watching Star Wars. Dude, everybody gets to see Star Wars. Like, it's one of those things that just, like, kids are born, and, like, all Star Wars fans, the first thing they do is pop them in a car seat in front of Star Wars. Here, watch this, because these lightsabers and blasters is going to keep you occupied, because a lot of flashing lights and shit, you know what I'm saying? It's one of the greatest babysitters I ever had. Put on Star Wars. The other podcast, this podcast came from a child, my grandson. He said, talk about Star Wars, because I was thinking about what type of podcast to do. I didn't know what I wanted to talk about. And I seen how excited he was off of watching Star Wars.
If it wasn't for Star Wars, we wouldn't be friends. Me, you, CJ, Tori, we wouldn't know each other.
Yeah. Shit, there's a lot of friends that I have that I wouldn't be friends with if it wasn't for Star Wars. A lot of people that I met from, from going to the cons and stuff that I'm been friends with for years because of Star Wars. And then there's a lot of friends that would probably kick my ass if they knew that I was a Star Wars fan. What the hell, you fucking nerd? Pow! Oh shit, son of a bitch. Because they're still stuck in the fucking 90s. But yeah, it's definitely, Star Wars has definitely influenced the world in a way that no other franchise has ever done. Not to say that, that Marvel hasn't, and Harry Potter and freaking
don't mention Harry
Twilight.
Potter. Get Harry Potter out of here.
Twilight.
What? Kyle? Just
Shit.
All right, Kyle. Now you're stalking shit.
There is a gang of
all right,
fucking Twilight fans.
Kyle, you're a little tired. I get it. No, I'm just kidding.
Transformers. There's a lot of franchises that have very big followings, and it made an impact on this world. But I don't think none of them. And I'm not just saying this because I'm a Star Wars fan, but I'm saying this because it's the truth. None of them have impacted the world like Star Wars has. Because technically, we wouldn't have none of them other franchises if it wasn't for Star Wars.
we wouldn't have Harry Potter.
Harry Potter is just a fucking direct remake of Star Wars.
You can't convince me otherwise.
Dude, it is. It's like, fuck, it is.
It's
the
same story.
Like, you got to think, like, Lord of the Rings.
Just a bad version.
And The Hobbit. The Hobbit was written before Star Wars. The book, The Hobbit, was written before
The Lord of
Star
the Rings is its own thing. That's not a ripoff.
Lord of the Rings would not be, the movies would not have been as dope as they were. The Hobbit, the movies wouldn't have been dope as they were if it wasn't for the technology that was created by Star Wars. So even though they're fucking huge and they got huge fan followings, I know a lot of people that are really into that shit, that they have to say the truth. If it was not for the technology and the visual effects and the storyboarding or the storytelling that Star Wars did, none of them films would have ever been made. They might have been made, but they would have never be. I mean, think about it. Go back and watch the old Hobbit cartoon, the cartoon that they were all based off of. That cartoon was garbage. I mean, it was a good story, but it was just terrible. And then to come out with Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit movies and just how spectacular they were done, shit was great.
Right.
And you got to think about it. If it wasn't for Lord of the Rings, because the directors for what's the TV show that y'all been yelling at me to fucking watch that I still haven't watched? Game of Thrones. The directors from Game of Thrones said if it wasn't ever for them movies, they probably would have never made Game of Thrones. So you got to look at the effect, cause and effect of it. Because of Star Wars, all these things came into cause Star Wars. The effect, all these wonderful fucking great ass fucking franchises that's out there.
Yeah, Star Wars showed what's possible when you can create a whole entire world inside your stories. Instead of being just a story, it created a whole world around this story where it was so good at getting you completely submerged in this world, in this story.
You know what Star Wars
did? It was
did?
Completely immersive.
You know what Star Wars did?
What?
Star Wars
helped you lose your virginity?
No. Might have. I'm pretty sure there were some people that lost their virginity watching Star Wars at the drive-in.
I'll bet you. I
guarantee it was. There was probably some kids that was created because of Star Wars. But what George really did is he showed the world that you can have an imagination again. You can imagine things. We were stuck in a world of war. We was in the Vietnam War. All these bad things. Everything was negative. People wasn't using their imaginations no more. They wasn't getting took out. Movies wasn't taking people out of the moment. You know, you go to the movie, you went to the movies to bang some chick. You know what I'm saying? That's the reason people went to the movies back then. You know, go make out.
It's still a thing.
Go watch movies. You know, now, when Star Wars came out, it took people out of the real world. Took people out of the problems. And even though them same type of problems was in the movie, it took you out of the problems that you was having. It caused you, even adult, to have an imagination again. To be able to use their imagination. And because you were able to use your imagination, other people were inspired and used their imaginations to create great shit from that point forward. It showed what could be done if somebody had enough passion in to do it. That no obstacle could not be overcome if you chose to do that. It inspired everybody. Look at what George did. I want to do that. Or I want to do this. I'm going out there and do that. You know what I'm saying? I want to make a fucking phone that I can carry in my pocket. You know what I'm saying? I want to make a computer that can do this. I want to do this, you know, and I want to have a fucking theater in my house so I can just watch all these wonderful movies that are coming out. It sparked the imagination and the creativity of the world. That's what George gave to all of us. And that's what makes it the greatest franchise ever. I have spoken. No, I'm joking.
I have spoken. I have spoken.
I hope that was a good analogy.
I have spoken.
I have spoken. Like, I didn't get that neither in Mandalorian. Like, I have spoken. I can shoot you in the face, too. Are you just going to tell me what we're going to do? Who the hell are you? We got some news and rumors.
Dude, I couldn't find that much, to be honest. So we'll let you go first, and I'll keep looking. But I couldn't really find much, except for, well, here.
Just click over.
This is Alton Castle for the only news you need, the HoloNet News.
Okay. So, Garrison, you go first because you said you couldn't find much. I only got 30 things.
I did see one rumor, which was just flipping stupid, about people talking about Disney selling Star Wars back and the possibility of George Lucas buying it back.
I debunked that a few weeks ago.
Yeah, but it came back, dude. I saw more news about it.
Yeah.
I saw it again. Again, it's stupid. Stop thinking it's not going to happen. I wish it would. I wish Disney. I wouldn't sell it back to George Lucas. I'd sell it to HBO.
Well, the only problem with selling
I want to see HBO do it. I think HBO could do a good Star Wars. I want to see HBO.
The only reason that I would
take
say
a crack
don't
at
sell it back to George Lucas because George Lucas is very particular about the way he does shit, which causes big, giant gaps in between the things that he does. And I'm kind of, even though it's bad Star Wars, I'm kind of accustomed to now getting Star Wars every couple months. If I had to go 10 years, I'll be dead in 10 years. So, you know what I'm saying? I can't wait 10 years for more Star Wars to come out. You know what I'm saying? I can't wait that long. You know, shit. I don't have the time for that. So, which I don't know, because George might see, like, if they sold Lucasfilms back to George, and George had Dave and John and all the people that's working and everything that has to do with Lucasfilms right now, I think George, I don't think he would let garbage Star Wars come out. But at the same time, I think he would see what the real capabilities of Star Wars could do. And because he's seen it with the Mandalorian and the Bad Batch and Andor and stuff, I think he would do things, he would keep things roughly the same. I don't think we would get as much Star Wars content because we'd get better Star Wars content. But I think that now that he sees that it can be done, that Star Wars has that type of fan base, that he would keep the ball rolling. I don't think he would wait 10 years to come out with another trilogy or, shit like he did before. I don't think he would do that. I don't think he would, put them big gaps in there, which you never know. But I wouldn't mind seeing HBO or, somebody else getting a hold of it and see what they can do with it, see if they can make better stuff.
I would just love to see HBO take a crack at it. They've been doing great work. I haven't really seen too much from HBO that I've hated. I don't know. They just seem to have a better track record than Disney does right now, in my opinion.
Well, right now, ain't nobody got a track record. Has anybody in the chat, has anybody in the chat heard about if the writer's strike is over? I haven't heard anything about the writer's strike.
It's actually
Like,
a
did
good
they come
question.
to an agreement or anything? Because I haven't heard anything about it.
I don't know, dude.
Okay. Chris puts in the thing, Ahsoka's coming out August 23rd. Yep, that was one of the
Yep.
things that I was going to bring up. And they absolutely have released they've released 9 main characters that's going to be within the Ahsoka series that's confirmed. Of course, Ahsoka. Sabine Wren is coming. Hare's going to be there. Baylan Skoll is going to be in it. Shin Hati, that's the chick that Sabine is fighting in the new trailer, or the extended trailer. Morgan Elizabeth is going to be in it. Hung Yang, the droid, the lightsaber making droid, Thrawn, and Ezra. They're all confirmed going to be within the series. And then, of course, Zeb is going to be there. They want to put Zeb in.
And how high are
Mandalorian.
your hopes?
On Ahsoka?
Yeah.
My
I
hopes
know,
ain't very high.
dude,
I know,
I know
that it's going to be good.
You and CJ have like this, like, trust in Filoni, right? But for me, like, Filoni's like, he's like obsessed with a little bit too much fan service.
Well,
And like, instead
no.
of introducing new characters, it's like, hey, let's bring up all these old characters, and
Go
it's
back.
just a little annoying.
Go back and watch Mandalorian season 1 and season 2, and look at the ones that he did, the ones that he wrote. They're all great. The ones that Dave wrote, you know what I'm saying. Book of Boba Fett was Dave's project. I mean, it was John's project. Dave it was more John and Robert Rodriguez's. That was more of their baby. John did do some of the, Dave did do some of the writing in there, but I don't even think he wrote an entire episode. I think him and Dave wrote the final episode. And John is just more into special effects and big wows than John is, or than Dave is. And I think not only did Dave write the entire Ahsoka series, he's been writing this for a long time. This isn't something that he just started writing because they gave him the green light on the series. And one of the interviews I was watching with him, he said he's been writing it for like 10 years. You know what I'm saying? He's been writing this series. He just never got the green light to do it until now. So I think that Dave really put his heart and soul in here. Dave loves Ahsoka. And I'm not going to presume, I'm not going to hope. I know that it's going to be a good series. I know it's going to be, because there's a story behind it. Dave writes stories. Dave, when you go back to look at the stuff that Dave wrote in the Clone Wars and in Rebels, they're good episodes. All his episodes that he's done has been good episodes. Good story arcs and stuff. So I know that it's going to be.
To me,
If it's
Dave,
bad, I'm
to
going to be
me,
pissed off.
Dave to me is just, it's the same 5 fan favorite characters keep popping up, making cameos, Easter eggs, and flipping fan
But
service
that's John
over and
is
over.
doing that. John is the one. If you go
It's-
back and look at all the episodes that John wrote in The Mandalorian, every one that John wrote is some type of fan service going on. It's not the ones that Dave wrote. It's the ones that John wrote. So honestly, I believe that Ahsoka is going to be good. I think Ahsoka is going to be really good. I think John's put a lot of years and a lot of thought into the way that he wanted to tell this story. Now, the big question is, are they going to drop all 8? Because John made a comment, or Dave made a comment that he wanted to drop all 8 episodes at one time so the fans could just, run through them, or is Disney going to put them out one at a time? Dave said he wanted to drop all 8 of them, just like they do, like Visions and stuff, and let people just have 8 hours of freaking Ahsoka and just binge watch the shit out of it. It's just telling whether or not, that was just something that he said. It's not something that was confirmed by any means. But that's something that, either way, I hope that they do it every week, because I don't want to try to watch 8 hours of Ahsoka straight. But I think it would tell a better story if we could just watch them all straight through. But I think that actually, I don't even think, I know that it's going to be good. Dave put his heart and soul into this. And I think Dave's movie, where he brings everything together, all the characters leading up to the First Order, bringing them all together, I think that's going to be because it's just going to tie everything together, and it's going to make, then we can start new. even if the movie ain't good, it's going to lead us to a point that we can start new. We go right up to the First Order and the starting of the First Order, and then we move on from there into new territories. And I think it's a good idea. I don't know. We'll have to see, but I know Ahsoka's going to be good.
I hope so. I mean, I my hopes aren't high like you, because I know you and CJ love Dave. My hopes aren't high, but I'm also like not expecting shit either.
It's not
I'm
that
just
I
kind of
love
like
Dave.
I'm not sure. I'm totally unsure about it. Is what I am.
It's not that I love Dave. You know what I'm saying? It's just that I look at his work. It's like you're comparing, you know what I'm saying, who would be two people that I could? It's like comparing Tony Gilroy to freaking what's his face?
I don't know.
Why is my brain not working? I just said his name earlier.
I don't know.
The dude that did 7 or 8.
8?
Yeah.
Oh, golly. I don't.
What the fuck is his name? Why can't I think of his
He
name?
who shall not be named.
Yeah.
Who shall not be named is what it is. Flipping Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan Johnson. It's like comparing Tony Gilroy to Ryan Johnson. When it comes to story-wise, Tony Gilroy got it.
Yes.
Ryan Johnson's more into the special effects, you know what I'm saying, shit like that. Or even J.J. Abrams, because J.J. Abrams is really into big special effects. J.J. Abrams also likes to shoot on 35 millimeter. It gives it more of that cinematic feel. But Tony Gilroy is going to give you a story. Or, you know what I'm saying, even Quentin Tarantino. It's like comparing something like that. You know, somebody that's going to give you a story. It's going to break down a story for you and keep you captivated.
Right.
That's how Dave writes. John writes big wows and special effects because that's what he's done. You know what I'm saying? That's basically the movies that he has done have been all big special effects, you know, and Chris makes a good point. He says the only concern I have with Dave's movie is that there's going to be too many people trying to control what he does. It's one thing to create a TV series, but a movie where money is a key factor could be a concern. Yeah, that's true. I don't know if Dave's movie is going to be so. I think Ahsoka's going to be good, but I don't know. Only thing I'm excited about the movie because it ties everything into the First Order. It's going to tie everything, you know, the Mandalorian.
Dude, I'm not excited for this movie at all.
Ahsoka, everything's going to tie in.
Are we talking about is he the one doing the movie with Daisy Ridley?
No.
Oh, okay. That's the different
Dave is doing the movie where it ties in all the series. It ties in all the series is coming out after the Return of the Jedi. So basically, Ahsoka, Skeleton Crew, the Mandalorian, all that.
I'm not excited.
He's making a movie tying it all into where the First Order starts.
Yeah, I'm not super excited for that.
So
I think it's going to be a mess.
We're going to see where Luke Skywalker attacks Ben. We're going to see the creation of, I think the creation of Snoke will come sooner than that. But all these things, and I don't know what movies or what TV series they're coming out with after these ones, but they're all supposed to tie in. He's going to make the movie that finalizes it all, ties in all the characters together, and it finalizes where the First Order comes in and comes into control.
Dude,
I'm more understanding.
That movie's going to be a mess.
Just depends on how you tell the story. Because from my understanding, the movie with Dave is not supposed to have Daisy Ridley or nobody in there. That happens after the First Order has already came in and takes over. So it's supposed to lead up to the starting of the First Order, show us the beginning of the First Order to where it would start at 7. So it's supposed to lead up all the way to that part. The one that's about Daisy Ridley, that's supposed to happen after the defeat of the First Order. The movie that I'm really excited about is Dawn of the Jedi. That's what I want to see. Now,
I don't know.
Andor season 2 cameo was teased by the producers. I guess there's some cameos that are coming. We're gonna have Mom Mothma in there, like Wasn't she part of the fucking movie in the first place?
Yeah, kind of
You know
have
what
to.
I'm saying? Part of the show. K2SO was announced that he'll probably be in it,
Nice.
which I kind of figured that was going to happen because it's happening, 4 years per 3 episodes or something. Isn't that what it is? Every 3
Yeah,
episodes,
it's
4
supposed
years
to, dude. Yeah, it's
or
supposed
some
to
shit
take
like
pretty
that.
big jumps.
Yeah, so I had a feeling that we'll see K2SO. The white hair alien appeared in the set photo for season 2 of Morph a Gregorian, whatever, whoever the hell that is. And then one of the biggest characters remaining a massive question, and she's still saying that she hasn't been approached, was Felicity Jones, being Jen Erso, being in it. So they've asked her several times
No, I don't think so.
if she's gonna be in a movie or in the series. She said no, but it's one of those things is that she's been in the fucking news a lot. So, and as we see, if they keep putting a motherfucker in the
Yeah.
news a lot, they end up
But
showing up.
I thought she talked about like not being in it.
She did. She did. She said, well, what she said that there has been no talks to her about it. Like,
Oh, I thought she said she didn't want to be in it.
well, so did Daisy Ridley.
No, that's a lie. Daisy Ridley always wanted to be in it. There was never a doubt in my mind that Daisy Ridley didn't want to be in Star Wars.
And then another fascinating thing that I found: George Lucas showed up on the set of The Mandalorian, and I guess he laid into John and Dave.
Good.
So let me just go through and kind of read. On the set of The Mandalorian, director and writer Dave Filoni was given some tough love and guidance from George Lucas when the legend visited the set. The creator of Star Wars has been minimal involvement in the franchise since he sold it to Disney. To showcase that point, fans only recently learned that Lucas' true feelings about Rogue One, according to the film's director and writer Dave Filoni, that he loved it. Lucas
Rogue One? Yep, because it was good.
Lucas offered some nice little comments to Dave Filoni about the Clone Wars final season as well. In an interview with Empire Magazine, the Mandalorian producer Jon Favreau shared what was like when Star Wars creator George Lucas to visit the set of the streaming series in the second season. The filmmaker compared Lucas to a martial arts teacher, adding that he would give Dave Filoni a hard time in a very playful and caring way. George Lucas came onto the set like a martial arts teacher. How many setups did you get? You're not shooting fast enough. He would give Dave Filoni a hard time in a very playful and caring way. He has nothing but tremendous care and respect for Dave. I think he sees Dave's creative life as an extension of the relationship that they had. Rosario Dawson said it was like great to see him on set. You know what I'm saying? She was it was like meeting one of the biggest people ever. It feels so special and so legitimate and so real to have George Lucas be there. And it felt really nice in this birthing of Ahsoka on screen in live action to have both of the creators there. There was really an excitement energy to it all. And George sprinkled his magic dust and it felt like a validation and approval. So George, and that was on the set of, it says right here that he also showed up on the set of the Ahsoka series. So for George to show up on the set of Ahsoka series and say that they're doing a good job with him and Dave's character, that's another thing that gives me a little bit of, you know what I'm saying, like, yeah, it's going to be good. Because if George is saying it's good, but, this is what Dave is saying. John is saying.
Right.
Also on the set of The Mandalorian, George Lucas met Grogu for the first time, and we've all heard that story. George Lucas liked the little green guy, who noted that Star Wars creator gave Dave Filoni a hard time and urged him to go faster. So why does Lucas have so little involvement? Well, for one, Star Wars is now entirely Disney property, so he doesn't have the same level of creative control that he once had. Even if everyone treats him like a legend, it's likely that Lucas gets too involved. He'll slip back into a producer shot calling mode he once lived. He could still harbor a whirlwind of emotions from letting go of the world he created, putting him in a spot where he is easier to enjoy, all from afar. But he did say that he will be on set sometimes to make sure that they're doing a good job.
For
That
what?
was kind of cool.
For
So George is good. I guess George, from another article that I read, I guess George showed up to the set a lot for Ahsoka.
okay, then
So
I
that's
might
another
have
reason
hope.
that I know that
might
it's
have
gonna be
hope.
good.
I might have hope then.
Well, you got to think about it. When Dave was wrote the character of Ahsoka, he was writing it with George. Him and George was the executive producer over the Clone Wars. It was still part of Lucasfilms then. So, George made sure everything went the way that it was supposed to go. So when you look at that and you look at Dave writing this character, George was there the whole time. I guarantee George gave a whole lot of inspiration, a whole lot of, oh, no, you should write her like this, you should do this, you should do this type of thing. And to have him showing up on set of Ahsoka just kind of shows that he's still connected to that character. So, because I was reading another article where they said that George had showed up quite a few times on the set of Ahsoka. So I don't know if that was a request by Dave. It kind of is discerning that John is on set of Ahsoka too, but like, why is John there, man? John, go do your own shit. Get the fuck away from Ahsoka. You're going to fuck it up. You're going to be like, here, put this big explosion right here that it wasn't needed to be. You know what I'm saying, or something, but I don't know. It just gets me more excited that George is showing up and helping Dave out. You know what I'm saying? That Chris says, I bet Ray's movie gets canceled. I would like to see that.
I would like to see Ray's movie get canceled. I hope Ray's movie gets canceled.
I mean,
but
and don't get me wrong.
I
Check
don't
this out.
think Disney likes canceling stuff we're looking forward to.
I won't mind to see that because I kind of want to see what happened afterwards. Like, what did she do? Like, they just kind of left it there. I'm a Skywalker. Ray Skywalker, end of the movie. Like, what happened after that? Like, did she die? Did she go teach some other Jedi? Did she become a rogue Jedi that's just flying around the galaxy fixing shit? Did she train other new Jedis? Is that the point of them showing us the kid lifting the broom up? They kind of left us on a little bit of a cliffhanger. So I kind of want to see what happens after that. And Daisy really is not a bad actor. She did a good job. It wasn't her fault that the stories was bad. It wasn't her.
She's a little uncoordinated. I will say that.
It wasn't her. It wasn't,
It's
John
kind of hard.
Boyega. It wasn't.
Hold on. It is kind of hard watching her lightsaber fight because she's a little weird with her movements.
Yeah, but I mean, she's not a bad actor. And the more she acts, the better she'll get. Just like any actor. You watch the first movie that they ever made, they sucked. I don't care who it was. They was terrible in their first movie. They get better the more that they do it. And practice makes perfect. But, and I didn't mind Ray's character. That's not the part. I didn't like the story. Because basically the first one, they just stole New Hope again. The second one, they killed Luke off like a punk. And then the third one was just nonsensical because they brought back fucking Palpatine. Like, dude, this dude is dead. Like, let him be dead. Fuck, why are you always bringing back the bad guys? Like, these bad guys got 9 lives like cats, man. I'm tired of this shit.
It just made all the other Star Wars. What was the point?
The whole story of the sequel trilogy was not a good story. The story just was jumped all over the place. It was not good. You had too many directors, too many people's hands in it. And Chris made a big comment, a good comment about too many people having their hands in the cookie jar. And so I think that's where one of the bad parts is at. But so I don't mind seeing her movie if somebody comes in and they make a good movie, it got a good story. Ray as a character, John Boyega coming back. I wouldn't mind seeing John Boyega again, Poe. I wouldn't mind seeing none of them come back. Oscar coming back. I wouldn't mind seeing them coming back. What happened afterwards? I want to know what happens after. There's more to the story than that. But you got to make a good story. If you make a bad story, it's just going to be like the sequels. It's going to be garbage, and it's just going to make everybody hate it. You got to make a good story. And they got a new director, new writers, and everything writing the story. So
Yeah, but the thing is, for me, it's like the whole premise of Rey, everything we know about Rey, it's all tainted because of the sequels. I think if we're gonna stick with this Rey character, we need to start over. We need to rewrite her.
I don't know. People, you got too many fans that like Ray. It would be stupid for them
I
to
don't
come
think
in and
so.
bring somebody in and try to market a whole new character as being her when Daisy really is Ray. That's like they're having a hard enough time trying to remarket fucking Luke Skywalker because Mark Hamill don't want to do it no more. He's like, dude, just recast it. Get somebody else to do it. I don't.
You already ruined Luke.
Like I don't want to do Luke no more. Luke is dead. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to do Luke no more. And so, they're gonna get no matter who they cast, they're gonna get bashed for it. They could cast the best actor in the world and they'll get bashed for it.
No, I'm fine with the casting. The casting's not what irritates me about Rey. I'm saying if you're gonna do I think Rey's a tainted character. I think you're done with Rey. Scratch Rey completely. So I'm not talking about recasting Rey.
Oh.
I'm talking about getting rid of her completely.
I don't think that they'll do it. I think
no, they won't.
They're going to bring her out and they're going to try to redeem her. And hopefully they got good writers and they got a good. The director is pretty good. So they've already told us who the director is. I just can't.
Do you
remember
think
his name
she's
later.
redeemable though, without rewriting the character?
I think she's redeemable if they make her realistic, and just her not flying and being able to.
Yeah, but she's already not realistic. That's the thing.
I mean, you can go back and you can redefine the character by where she has come. She's older. It's 10 years in the future. You know what I'm saying? You can redeem her character, and you can redeem John Boyega Finn. You can redeem him as her being one of his him being one of her apprentices, like they did in the Lego series. There's redeemable qualities, and if they're doing what Jedi are supposed to be doing and fighting against bad guys and doing what they're supposed to be doing, it's a redeemable. But just don't make Empire Strikes Back again, because that's what I'm scared of. They're just going to turn around and the First Order is going to come back, and it's going to be a new bad guy, and it's going to be you're just going to make Empire Strikes Back, and it's going to be stupid. Like, don't do that. Like, it's done. Like, the sequels is over. Redeem the characters. Make the characters. Make a new story. Don't just keep trying to play off of what's already been done. And we know Disney is good at doing that. I think that it'll be good. I think it could be good. But I don't have no high expectations for it. I'm not sitting here thinking like, oh, that movie's going to be fucking great because it got Daisy Ridley in it. No, I'm not doing that. Honestly, I think it's going to be trash. But until I see it, I don't know. Until I see what Disney comes up with, and if they do it right, it'll be good. If they don't do it right, it's going to be bad. You know what I'm saying? It's up to the writers, and it's up to what Disney and Kathleen Kennedy greenlights. If Kathleen Kennedy greens like some garbage, then it's going to be garbage. It's just, and then it got to go up the chain from Kathleen Kennedy up to the Disney execs, and they got to look at it, and if they say it's good, then it'll be good. If they say it's bad, then it's not going to happen. I don't know. I don't have high expectations for it. The only movie that I really have high expectations for is Dawn of the Jedi. Because it's like, how can you fuck that up? Like, it's a completely new story. I mean, it's based off the book. They got Tim working on it, so, you know what I'm saying? Tim's already said he'll give fucking, you know what I'm saying, he'll consult on it and help the writers write the story. And we're going back in time to the very beginning of the Jedi and the Sith. It's like, dude, it's an open platform at this point. You can do whatever you want. It's like, I don't see, like, unless you just do some really dumb shit and just have a really bad story, you can't fuck that up. Like, that's the only one that I have high expectations for. I don't see them being able to fuck that up too bad. Unless they're just stupid, which we are talking about Disney here and they could do it, but I have high expectations for that. But I think that's the movie that's coming out the longest away, right? That's the 2029 movie.
Yeah.
I might be dead before then, so I might not ever get to see it.
Chris says there's a theory going around that the Inquisitor in the Ahsoka trailer might be a Starkiller clone. Dude, don't do that. Please don't do that.
Well, we know that he's a clone of a Jedi. Because if they're doing here to the Empire, the Jedi that was in there was a bad guy. He was a clone of a Jedi. That's how Thrawn cloned him, and then the Thrawn didn't clone him. He was already a clone, and then he escaped and he was out. And then Thrawn got him and basically brainwashed him into thinking that Thrawn was the good guys, and Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, and Leia and the Republic was the bad guys. So I don't know. We'll have to see. It just all depends, because the I don't know. I don't know how it's gonna go. I don't know. Wait a minute.
I just don't
am I
have
even
much
talking
hope
right?
in
No, yeah.
Disney.
So who's doing so I thought they named it the new movie Here to the Empire. Ain't that the Dave Filoni Here to the Empire?
They named the movie that? I don't remember that.
Or was that just the name of the series? I'm over here tripping. My brain ain't
It was
working
a
right.
book.
I was just looking at that shit like earlier. Which one is it the movie?
No. I don't remember seeing that. That's the book. I know they were kind of going in that direction, but they've already screwed up so much stuff that I don't think they can.
I think they called it Here to the Empire.
They're already so off. Oh, man.
Was that Dave Filoni's movie that they called Here to the Empire? I'm pretty sure it was.
No, there's no movie called Heir to the Empire.
I was just looking at that shit. Where the hell was it at?
Oh, maybe there is, yeah.
Yeah, is it Dave Filoni's movie?
It's a rumor. It's a rumor. It's not actually called that.
I know it's not actually called Here to the Empire, but it's supposed to be based off of Here to the Empire.
That's a rumor, yeah.
So I guess it would be Dave Filoni's film, because he's really into the.
I mean, it would have.
He would use
I guess that makes
technology, sense. And it would lead up really good.
I don't think it's going to be Heir to the Empire, though. I think you have to rewrite it. Like, it's a completely different story.
You have to rewrite it because Leia's dead, Han ain't around.
Yeah,
which there was something I was reading that they was bringing back the actor from Solo to be in the movie. It was rumored that he was whatever his name is, the dude that played Han Solo in Solo, that they were bringing him back.
I honestly think they need to just start new, start fresh, get into some other stories with different characters.
But I don't know how they could do that too, because then they're going to have to get a different character to play Ray Stevenson.
What?
Because Ray Stevenson passed away. That's the dude that plays the bad guy in fucking the Ahsoka series. So if he's supposed to be a clone of somebody in the movie, that if they're basing the movie over here, the Empire, and like using him as the clone bad guy, the clone Jedi that becomes the Sith because he believes that whatever Thrawn tells him, you know what I'm saying?
That's why I'm saying you just kind of need to start fresh. Like,
I don't know. With Dawn of the Jedi, if they go back in time with Dawn of the Jedi and start and start working forward, then
start fresh.
There's a lot of leading all the way up to A New Hope. There's a lot. You got the High Republic, you got the Old Republic, you got Dawn of the Jedi era, you got the High Republic era, you got the Old Republic era, you got the High Republic era. Like, other than the books, you can rewrite that any way that you want it and create whatever you want, because the books technically ain't canon. So you could come in and do a Revan and do it the way you wanted it, which I don't think that's a good idea. Or you could do a Bane and do it the way you wanted, or a Darth Malgus, and move from that point forward and go from Dawn of the Jedi all the way up to New Hope. You got all that time period that's just open. And with all these High Republic books, and these High Republic books is pretty good books, you could definitely do some creative shit. And the High Republic books are canon, so you know what I'm saying? They were created by Disney, so they are definitely, you could make them movies. There's so much that they could do. They could go back in time. Now, going beyond the Rise of Skywalker or the Skywalker films, when you get to Rey, to go past there, you kind of have to continue with Rey, because Rey is the last Jedi. You know, she's the very last Jedi. So you have to continue with her, because that's where you left the cliffhanger at. I'm Rey Skywalker.
Nah.
You kind of have to continue with her series.
I think you don't continue with her. I think you scrap it.
You go back in time and
trash.
start. I don't know. How are you going to just start over again? What characters are you going to start with?
You start fresh. You go Dawn of the Jedi.
Well, Dawn of the Jedi is the beginning.
Yeah.
That's the very start. That leads up to New Hope.
Yeah, but it's so far in the future that it's like
No,
it's a
it's so
completely
far in the
different
past.
story.
It's
Or that's what I
25,000
mean. Yeah, no.
BBY.
Luke Skywalker and Rey is so far in the future that you don't even have to bring that up ever again. You get rid of Rey completely. You
They're not
scrap
going
her
to get
from the
rid of their
history books.
characters, though. Disney's not going to get rid of their characters. They're going to expand on their characters because there's such a big,
But they
such a
suck.
big fan base. But there's still a giant
Is
fan
there, though?
base.
I
Yes,
feel
man,
like
there's a
there's
huge
not that
fan
much.
base. Man, you know how many people love the sequels? There's a lot of people that love the sequels because that was their first experience to Star Wars. Just because we've been around Star Wars and we've seen Star Wars and we've seen the prequels and the originals and all the Clone Wars and all that stuff. Some people, their very first Jedi they ever seen was Rey.
Yeah, but I
So
still
they love
feel
Rey. Look how many
I feel
cosplayers
more people
cosplay
don't like
Rey.
it. Yeah, because she's like one of the only regular-looking female Jedi.
Yeah, but I mean,
She's the only mainstream female-looking Jedi who
But
you
it
don't
should
have
be-
to put
they're-
makeup
they're-
on for.
But if you look at all them people, most of them people are younger people. This was their first time ever seeing Star Wars. So to them, Luke is like, who is Luke? It's all about Rey.
Yeah, but I feel like more fans dislike Rey than like Rey.
Nah, I bet you it's probably 50-50.
You think so?
Yeah, I bet you it's 50-50. Look it up. I bet you it's about 50-50. All the older fans, because you got to remember, you have the original trilogy fans didn't like the sequel or the prequels when they first came out. Everybody said that shit was garbage, hated Christensen as a terrible actor, fucking Ewan McGregor. Now, then they came out with the sequel. So all the original trilogy people didn't like the prequels until the sequel came out. And then when the sequels came out, everybody started loving the first six and everybody hated the sequels. But you got a lot of new fans that just love the sequels and they hate the original six. We had one on the show. Look at Rey. I mean, look at Charlie. Charlie loved the sequel trilogy.
Yeah,
She
but
loved
we all
the
know.
sequel
Yeah,
trilogy.
yeah.
So
But
I mean, you got to think
she's
about it.
crazy. She's crazy.
Just because we don't like it, but I also it's not even that I don't like the sequel trilogy. I just think it was a bad written story.
It was a terrible
It wasn't that
written
it was
story.
it was like the acting wasn't bad, the cinematography and all that stuff was good. The special effects and everything they did was good. I love that J.J. Abrams shot 7 and 9 on 35mm film. That always makes a better cinematic look. You know what I'm saying? I just didn't like the story. And it starts with the story. It literally does. Like anybody that tells you in movies, it starts with the story. If you have a bad story, no matter what special effects, no matter what music you put to it, no matter what you do to it, if the story is bad, it's going to be bad. You got to have a good, captivating story that keeps the fans enthralled. But you take somebody that's never seen that, this is all brand new to them. So they don't know about good, and especially young people. A lot of young people, the movies that they're getting are not, all right, Chris, we'll see you later, are not, you know what I'm saying? They're used to big special effects and no story. They're used to that. A lot of movies come out like that. So
That's
for
true.
them to see
All
that,
the Avengers were like that. So
it's it's just big special effects and the stories is just like, what the fuck is going on? You know what I'm saying? And
that's a
to
good
us,
point. That's a
to
good
somebody
point.
that's a filmmaker like myself or somebody that's been in the industry, I look at it and I sit back and say, what the fuck is going on?
This is shit. This is shit.
But somebody like, my son, he's going to sit back and be like, this is one of the greatest movies because that's the type of shit that he like. He don't care about
That's
stories. He want
true.
to see shit blow up and fucking facts, action shit and a lot of cut scenes and, you know what I'm saying? And that's exactly how
People
the
want
sequels were
simple, turn off your brain entertainment.
Yeah, that's
true.
So there's all,
Short attention span.
but in
Yeah,
all
that's fair.
honesty, I want to see what happened to Ray and Finn and Poe. I want to see what happened after that because they just ended it. They said, "My name is Ray Skywalker," and it was done. Like, okay, what happened afterwards? But that's good marketing. That's good promotion. That's where you want to live. People is on a cliffhanger. So when you come out with the new movie that they already been playing, this has been playing for a long time. They just let the devastation of the people that didn't like it die down. And now they'll come out with a new one, and hopefully it's a good movie, and they got good writers, and they got a good story, and they come out with something that's good, and they redeem it. And it can be redeemed. There's nothing that can't be redeemed. There's nothing that can't be redeemed. But you got to put the time and the work and the effort in it, and you got to have good story. because that's what everybody didn't like it. If you listen to everybody's complaints about the sequel trilogy, it's all about the story. If you really listen to the things that they talk about, they're talking about the story. Like it didn't make sense. What was going on? Why did Luke die like that? Why would Luke die like that? When, especially if anybody that knows anything about Legend of Luke, where they took the idea of the Force projection at. Like, why would he die from that? This dude Force projected an entire fleet of Star Destroyers. You know what I'm saying? But him doing himself, he died. Like, what the fuck? It just didn't make sense. Then they brought back Palpatine, and then, you know, all this cloning shit and everything. It just made for a bad story. And it's not so much even a writer's fault. It had a lot to do with the directors. J.J. Abrams is a good director, but he's another, like Dave Filoni. He likes big explosions and a lot of, you know what I'm saying, you know, a lot of that wow factor type shit instead of the story. So the story don't have to be good. He thinks he can make the movie good by a lot of fucking effects. But that's what people like nowadays. I just don't like that. I'd rather watch two guys argue about God in an apartment building for fucking 2 hours that has good dialogue and a story behind it than I would watch something that has a bunch of effects. But that's just me. I'm a writer, so you know what I'm saying? I write stuff. So when I'm writing a story. I write stories. I don't write big wow effects and boom, blow this up and explode this and fucking laser bolts flying everywhere. I don't write that. I write a story, and if them things are involved in the story, then I put them in the story. But if they're not involved in the story, they don't need to be there. Yeah, it's crazy. All right, y'all want to get to the quote, or not? Is that the quote?
The quote, the quiz,
the quiz.
No,
Quiz.
wrong show.
Wrong show, yeah.
All right, yeah, let's do it.
Stop right there, you rebel scum. Prepare yourself for the Star Wars Impossible quiz. Blast them.
All right, so it kind of sucks that you're by yourself because this one's kind of hard.
God damn. I was going to say, I was like, in general, these quizzes are a lot harder because I'm probably like the worst at them.
Okay, question number 1. What is the name of the Ewok that stole the speeder bike to create the diversion and return to the Jedi?
I only know like 2 Ewoks names. So Wicket or Chirpa.
Nope.
Okay. There's another like Whipple or something, but that's about it.
Anybody in the chat know? Anybody in
the
the chat?
Whipple? Witchell? Wickle?
Okay. It's Paplo.
Paplo. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm way off. Golly. I'm a disappointment.
Hey, shit. Most of these questions I don't know the answer to. The only reason I know them because I wrote them. I went through and did the research and wrote them. On Jakku, there are worms that attack prey from under the sand. What are the name of those worms?
Worms.
Well, yeah, they're called worms, but what type of worms are they called? They have a name.
A sandworm.
Nope. Timmy.
Timmy.
Is that for the Ewoker? Is that for
giant
the Ewoker?
Worms?
The Ewok.
Giant worms.
Okay. I know that the chat is behind, so I don't want to go too fast. Spice worms. Nope. They're called night watch worms.
Night watch worms?
Yep.
Huh.
Okay. This one might be a little bit easier. On which side of the island does the Jedi temple sit where Luke is hiding on Octo?
The north side.
Nope.
The south side.
Nope.
East
Well,
side.
I mean, there's only 4 sides, so you don't fucking...
I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it eventually.
It's at the west end of the island on the highest peak.
Of course, my last guess.
Okay. This one's
West
kind of hard.
side.
How many restaurants does the Cantino Casino have in it?
3.
No.
Nah, this is a big casino. Like 7.
Nope.
I don't know.
22.
Jeez. Holy shit, how big is this place?
Every type of cuisine in the galaxy in the Canto Casino. There's 22 restaurants. Okay, what type of AT does the First Order use in the Battle of Crate when they confront the Resistance and when they confront the Resistance forces and fire upon Luke? What type of ATs are
Oh,
those?
oh, that's a great question. Because they're not ATSTs. They're AT somethings. I know
Yeah,
that.
well, they're called AT somethings, but what is it? AT what? Come on, chat. Get in here.
ATSTs, ATETs, ATWTs,
No.
AT herpes.
AT herpes. You ate some herpes? You got herpes now. No, it was the ATM sixes.
M6s, really?
Where was the
Oh,
bottle
okay.
of Hoth shot? Where did they film it at in The Empire Strikes Back?
Ooh, that's a great question. Canada,
No,
Greenland,
no.
somewhere in Scandinavia. It's
I don't.
definitely Scandinavian.
All right, I'm just going to give you the answer because I don't know if this is in
Norway.
Scandinavia. It's in Norway. Yes, it is.
Scandinavia, boom.
It's Finnish, Norway. Is where they shot it at.
If it wasn't Canada, it was gonna be somewhere like Scandinavian.
Who designed and created the miniature set for the Coruscant street chase in Attack of the Clones?
George Lucas?
No. Well, I mean, of course he did. He's the one that wrote it. But who
Okay, so
designed the miniature?
restate the
Who
question.
designed the miniature set? You know, it was a miniature set that they created, and then they filmed it, and then they put the actors in it.
Dude, how would I know that? I don't know.
Okay, I didn't figure anybody was gonna get this. It's Grant Umara.
Yeah, that's a pretty tough question. That was if anybody got that question right, mad respect. Hats
Yeah.
off to you.
Because I didn't even know until I wrote it.
Yeah, that's pretty tough.
Star Wars team leader said part of it was shoot at Adman Savage. What happened to Yoda's lightsaber after he loses it in his battle with Sidious?
He found it.
No. He got the fuck out of there.
Actually, a great question. It was destroyed.
Yes, it was destroyed. But how?
He really didn't keep it? I figured he found it
Oh,
and
he
kept
lost
it.
it. Remember, it gets knocked out of his hand.
Yeah.
Okay, so here goes the answer. It was publicly thrown into a furnace by Mas Amata and destroyed. Publicly.
Oh, so it was like a ceremony, like fuck the Jedi.
It rolled under the throne. What makes the Gomorian axe that Jabba's guards use so intimidating?
It's a giant fucking axe.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons, but there's another reason.
It's held by like a nasty flipping pig.
Yeah, that's pretty intimidating too, but that's not the answer.
Jeez, I don't know.
The axes actually contain vibro generators.
Oh, so like they're like vibro blades?
Yep.
Yeah, Star Wars team leader had it.
Yep.
Kind of.
It had a vibrant blade. Yep. Vibro. We know what you were saying, Star Wars team leader.
Interesting.
Yeah. Who manufactured the SDK4 assassin droids we see in the Clone Wars animated series, the spider-looking droids? Who manufactured them?
The separatists?
Yeah, sort of. You know, the separatists was buying them from whoever the fuck was making them to, you know, use against the fucking clone troopers.
Dude, so you're asking for like the company.
Yeah, you
that's a
should know
great
this one. This
question.
one is actually the easiest question that there is.
What?
Yeah,
How is this the easiest question?
This is the easiest question. I don't know which side
Hudson
of the fucking
Incorporated.
island was pretty easy because all you had to do is guess, but
Tesla.
Tesla, Elon Musk created it.
Elon Musk was a separatist. Elon Musk sounds like a separatist. Let's be honest.
Kind of
He'd be a separatist.
all right. So anybody in the chat? Come on, chat. Who manufactured the SDK4 droid, assassin droids, in the Clone Wars animated series?
SDK4.
By two. No. It's the SD-K4. All right. So it was the Techno Union created them.
Oh, that was easy.
Yeah,
Yep.
it was very easy because the Techno Union created all the damn droids.
The Techno Union is at the disposal count.
So that was question number 10. So we are
God
done.
damn it. Couldn't get one. I didn't get. No, I had Norway. I knew Norway.
Yeah, you
It was
got
my
Norway.
third guess, so I don't know if that counts, but I
Hey,
kind of got it.
You got it. Star Wars team leader got Vibro Blade. You also got, is Norway in the UK? Norway part of
No.
the UK? No, I
No,
didn't
it's
think
not.
so. And J Dog was pretty close on the on how many restaurants. He said 25. It was actually 22. Which
That's
is
a lot
fucking
of
crazy.
restaurants, which
I know
sounds.
one thing. I gotta fucking get this shit off of PDF, the fucking books. I gotta get this shit on regular shit because some of the shit I'm like, dude, I could have swore I highlighted this shit, and it's not showing up in the highlights. And I'm like, dude, did I already ask this question? Like, I swear I might have asked this question already. This seems very familiar. But that concludes today's show where we discussed the amazing Star Wars and how it influenced pop culture and just all culture in the world, because it did. It just basically changed the entire world, because that's how dope Star Wars is. We will be doing the next video, which is Rogue One,
Watch party.
sometime this month. I don't know when, because it's going to be kind of hard. We might, because we got a lot of shit going on, because I didn't realize I had this much shit going on. I got Father's Day and my wife's birthday is on the same day. So that's, next Sunday or the Sunday after next. Then
Yeah, that's
my
going to be a
anniversary
busy day.
is on the 29th. So that weekend, me and my wife are going to do something. So like the next 2 weekends? Yeah, because the 18th is Father's Day and my wife's birthday. Then, so I guess we could do it on the 25th. I'll free on the 25th. 'Cause my anniversary is on the 29th, so we'll be celebrating that on the 1st and the 2nd. So that,
I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
I know I definitely can't do it
I'll
tomorrow.
have to check the calendar. No,
So everybody
not
check the
tomorrow.
calendar. We're probably doing it on the 25th. So we're going to be doing the watch party on the 25th of Rogue One, which is one of the greatest Star Wars movies ever made.
Yes.
my opinion.
Yes. I agree.
But
You're
we'll
right.
definitely be doing that
It's not an opinion,
sometime
it's a
this
fact.
month. Star Wars team leader, I'll work on a poster probably today or tomorrow, so I could get cause I gotta go to the studio and the actual film studio to work on the short film I'm doing. But I'm gonna try to get some time. I'm gonna make a flyer for you and email it to you. I'm pretty sure I got your email address, so I'll email it to you. And other than that, I think we're all done. Thank you for watching Lightsaber
Sounds
Radio.
good.
Remember to stay outrageous, and may the Force be with you always.
And make good choices.
Thank you for tuning in to LSR. If you've enjoyed the show, consider subscribing so you can be notified when new episodes are released. If you would like to be a guest on the show or just want to give us some feedback, feel free to email us. You can also reach out to us on all major social media platforms. Lightsaber Radio is produced by Pickfilm Media and is a Swaycast original, starring Garrison Turcotte, CJ Elliott, and Kyle McDaniel. And don't forget to join us next time for more adventures in a galaxy far, far away.